Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Otts here. It's Monday morning. The Raptors are going to play the Atlanta Hawks again today. The second game in a row against the Hawks in Toronto, and the last game of the season series between the Raptors and the Hawks for the year. And we'll be completing a sweep if we beat them today. We beat them 3 times this year. And, let's get it done. Let's get that finished win tonight against the Hawks. Of course, it's tough to beat the same team 2 times in a row in the same settings, even if you're at home for those games, because there's adjustments. There's teams being pissed off and saying, I don't want to lose to them all 4 games. There's a lot of it. Also, the word is that Kristaps Porzingis will be playing today for the Hawks, so they'll get a little bit more uh, added to their roster to use. We'll see if Porzingis is a benefit or a detriment to the Hawks today. We'll just have to find out. So yeah, let's get right into it. The latest lineup news, and then we'll get right into the stream for the other stuff too. All right. First of all, Raptors are listing Chucky Hepburn day to day. He's still dealing with some issues, but that may be more important for the Noblesville Boom game tomorrow for the 905 than for the game tonight. So Jakob Poeltl is out. He is out for sure tonight. He will not be playing for the Raptors. I've heard that AJ Lawson is available for the Raptors tonight, that they are going to put him in a Raptors jersey, and he'll be the two-way that's activated for the game tonight. I don't know about Elijah Martin. I think he was activated for the last Hawks game. I think Lawson gets activated for this one, is what I've heard. And I also think that I've heard that I think it was Blake Murphy. I should just go check. Blake Murphy saying that I think Jonathan Mobo is also available for the Raptors today too. Yeah. Hepburn and Martin with the 905, Lawson with the team. Yeah. Luke Kennard is questionable for the game tonight. He did miss the game on Saturday, but he's questionable with his back. So we could see him added to the mix tonight. Trae Young is also questionable right now. Actually, no, wait, it's already been said. He's not going to play today. So Trae Young is out with his quadriceps injury, will not play in Monday's game against the Raptors, according to Brad Rowland of the Hawks Network. And Dante is still out for the Hawks also. So even though Porzingis is playing, he's not going to be starting because they're playing Okongwu at the starting lineup, and Porzingis is off the bench. So, yeah, I'm expecting a starting lineup of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Rizache, Jalen Johnson, and Onyeka Okongwu as the starters for the Hawks tonight. And for the Raptors, well, I don't know. Could they put Combo at the center again? Put Colin Murray-Boyles? We had a notorious barbecue combo for our starters on Saturday night with Colin Murray-Boyles playing center and Scotty at the 4. Could we do that again? I don't know. It was kind of successful in the last game, so maybe they do that. Maybe they decide they want to put a different guy in the starting lineup, like Sandro or Jacoby or Oshai. That could be possible also. So we'll just have to see who the Raptors' fifth starter is with the notorious barbecue show. The notorious barbecue show. All right, let me go look at the refs for you guys. The replay center tonight in New Jersey, Brandon Schwab, Kevin Cutler, and Matt Callio will be manning the replay center. And on site in Toronto for the Hawks at the Raptors, our crew chief tonight is Curtis Blair. Curtis Blair is number 74 in his 18th season out of Roanoke, Virginia. Of course, Curtis was drafted in the NBA draft as a player by the Houston Rockets. I don't know if people know that from in the 80s. I think he was drafted in the late 80s to the NBA. So, yeah, he was a player. His favorite TV show is Dexter. His favorite movie is Grease. His favorite musicians, Casey and JoJo. He likes to eat lamb curry. He most like to visit Brazil. And his hidden talent is tennis. Yeah, we haven't seen Curtis Blair yet this year. This will be the first game he referees for the Raptors in regular season. I'm pretty sure we had him in preseason, though. I remember him in preseason. Curtis Blair has officiated 956 regular season games and 47 playoff games in 17 seasons as an NBA staff official. In the 2018-19 season, he made his playoff debut as an NBA referee and worked the NBA All-Star game in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, Curtis, like I said, we haven't seen him yet on the court as a ref in any regular season games yet this year. Our record with him is a 58% winning percentage, which is fantastic. He's in a great zone on my ref report spreadsheet. 58% winning with Curtis Blair for the Raptors. And the Hawks win 48% of their games with Curtis Blair. So 58-48 is the split, favoring the Toronto Raptors in this one. The second ref today is the boy wonder, Andy Nagy, number 83. He just has Robin energy. I'm sorry. He just does. He's in his 6th season out of Toledo, Ohio. His favorite TV show is Seinfeld. He likes to listen to Metallica. His favorite meal is filet mignon. His favorite app is Spotify. He most like to visit the Maldives. His bucket list is to get a hole in one. What do you mean? You know, you could get a hole in. Never mind. Hidden talent, barbecue expert. So Andy Nagy is a barbecue expert. So he knows Barnes, Barrett, and Quickly very well. So hopefully he'll know when to call the whistles to give them foul shots. So if you're a barbecue expert, Andy Nagy, you need to let that whistle blow for Scotty Barnes, yo. He's going in there going, ah! You better blow that whistle, Andy Nagy, if you're a barbecue expert. Andy Nagy has refereed 6 seasons in the NBA G League, where he worked the playoffs 3 consecutive years. Guess which years? 2016, 2017, 2018. And the finals 2 straight years in 2017 and 2018. So Andy Nagy was working those Jerry Stackhouse, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam G League championship games. Andy Nagy. Yeah, we've had Andy this year once, I believe. Once or twice. Let me see. We've had him once, and we won that game. We are 1-0 with Andy this year. We have a 52% winning percentage with him. We've won 52% of our games. We were 500 with him, but we won a game, and we got 24 percentage points on there. So 52%, and the Hawks win 44% when Andy Nagy is present. So 52-44 is the split for the Toronto Raptors with the second ref, Andy Nagy. The third ref is John Conley, Fred VanVleet's little bitch. Number 56 in his 5th season out of Orlando, Florida. His favorite TV show is I Think You Should Leave. His favorite musician is Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Be the Pack Leader. His favorite meal is potatoes and pasta. His favorite movie is Dumb and Dumber. He most like to visit Australia, and his bucket list is to skydive in Dubai. Yeah, we've had John Conley once this year so far, and we did win in the game that John Conley refereed earlier this season. Conley officiated for 7 seasons in the NBA G League. He also has 10 years of officiating experience in college basketball, working in the Mid-Florida, Southern, Suncoast, and Sunshine State conferences. Yeah, John Conley, of course, was famous last year for being the referee that Fred VanVleet was getting thrown out of the game, and he pointed at different refs and called them bitches. And that John was one of them. Yeah. So our record with John Conley is really good. He has the best record out of all the referees today. We win 59% of our games that John Conley has been present at. And the Hawks, meanwhile, win 33%. So, yeah, 59-33 for the Raptors. Once again, all 3 referees have better winning percentage with the Toronto Raptors today. This is actually a better ref crew than the ref crew on Saturday when we faced the Hawks that game. So, yeah, not a bad ref crew. Curtis Blair has been very fair, very, very fair referee over the years to the Raptors. Definitely not somebody that holds us back. Definitely not somebody who's overly screwing us over in any kind of way. So we like Curtis Blair. And, yeah, the other 2 aren't bad either. There's no red flags as far as I can see with these guys. We do things correctly. We play strong. We play together. We play Raptors basketball. We use our talent. We use our depth. We win. That's it right there. That's it right there. The refs, I don't see the refs getting in our way. So, yeah. All right, let's see. Trevor J. with the words of wisdom. How you treat folks is your real ministry. It matters way more than end stage you stand on, any stage you stand on, or any platform you preach or sing from. It's interesting. Yeah, there's going to be people that have big, huge platforms that to some people, they look like humanitarians or they look like they're people doing good things, but their real effect in real life is absolutely dreadful and awful. And that's the big thing. There's some people that have a lot of influence over this world, and they're not responsible people. In fact, they may be actually described as deranged. And well, that's the scary thing. Is like, look, you can say you're a certain thing, you can act as though you're a certain thing in public, but it doesn't mean you are, because your real world influence and what you do to other people in everyday lives, that is more your legacy. That is more who you are, is what Trevor's saying this morning. Blessings to the Jones family, all the Rapid Freak families. That's right. Trevor's saying this: Happy game day. Let's beat the Hawks again tonight. Yeah, I love that. I love that, especially since like kind of what I was saying yesterday is so many experts last summer said the Hawks had the best free agency in the summer last year, and they would be so much better, and they'd be winning in the East, at the top of the East. So many people said this, put that so much on the line, and I was like, nobody's paying attention to us. They said nice things about Detroit. They said nice things about Atlanta. They say nice things about Orlando and Desmond Bain, but everybody's sleeping on Brandon Ingram, and the needle pusher that he is for the Toronto Raptors going to make us be higher up in the East also. But they all slept on that. Nobody wanted to point that out or even figure it out. Well, we were talking about it on this channel around June and May last year, even though nobody else was. That's right. So yeah, it's redemption. It feels good because if we sweep the Hawks, then all that bullshit from last summer looks so stupid at this point. And that's why I want us to sweep the Hawks tonight. You swept the Cavs, go ahead and sweep the Hawks too, Raptors. Go ahead. And we may have a secret weapon tonight. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to talk about it in just a sec. Trevor's also saying that Miami game last night against the Pelicans, Norman Powell made 9 3-pointers in that game. That's fantastic. I always love to hear accomplishments of former Raptors, especially Raptor champions like playoff Powell. And wow, what a fantastic game. The Heat are a weird team. In some ways, I'm glad we've caught them when we've caught them, kind of reeling and not totally organized and maybe a little discombobulated, because they have had crazy games where they reach up and they beat people with fantastic efforts like the one Norman Powell put out there last night. So sometimes it's just a timing of when you play teams that can be in your benefit or detriment. Trust me. Yeah. And that game, the games we beat on Miami already this year have been impressive. And I've been very happy about that. That's right. That's right. Let's see. G is saying this morning. They need to barbecue some hawk wings. Yeah, I don't know. There's some goofy Chev is doing AI art on his stuff. Like Trevor brought this garbage into our Discord server last night. And I'm like, why do we have to see this crap? There's like some weird composite Raptors that one guy looks kind of like RJ, one guy looks like Fred. I don't know. It's weird. It's like the Raptors need to eat wings. And then he's made like an AI slop picture of random Raptors fans. I don't know who those people are eating wings. I mean, what is this, Chef? What is this bullshit? Like seriously, I'm the kind of person, I guess at the age that I'm at, when people start using AI content, I unfollow. I unfollow. If you see me put an AI image up for my streams, unfollow me, please. If you see an AI voice on my channel at some point, if it isn't mine and it's a program after I'm gone, unfollow my channel. I promise you, this is gonna be AI free zone here. We're gonna be as authentic as we can be on this channel in this ever increasing inauthentic world we're getting. And yeah, I was just so disappointed. I saw that picture and I'm like, that's gross. First of all, that is gross. Like I can tell that they took the composite of a couple of different people, like Kawhi Leonard and maybe this person and that person, and tried to make just amalgamous, weird Raptor AI slop people. And I'm like, what is this, Chev? Seriously, I'm going to eat hawk wings? Yeah, okay. Let's see. Raptors champs is in the house. Good morning, Raptors champs. Good morning, Raptor freaks and champs. It amazes me that people complain about IQ's defense, but they would trade him for Trey. Well, that just shows uneducated basis and reasoning. It's like, okay, wait a second. Not lining up. Like, are you intelligent? No, probably not. And are you even understanding what's important in a game? No, probably not. So obviously, you're someone who is not responsible or intelligent enough to make any kind of decisions for the Raptors front office. That's great that you don't have a job with them. That's fantastic. that an idiot that says stuff like that right in a row has nothing to do with Bobby Webster and Dan Tolzman. That's fantastic. That's what makes me happy about this is that, because there's every jabroni out there with their own opinions and dumbass shit. Well, thank God this guy doesn't work for the Raptors because you'll never work for the Raptors with that kind of logic. I'll say that right there. Yeah, you are a champion, Raptors champs. You guys like my Chevron shirt? I'm trying to wear a different shirt every day for 2026 to start. In the first 100 days, I gave myself a challenge. You got to wear a different Raptors or Tempo or 905 apparel every single day for the first days of the year. So my shirt today is the Chevron North white playoff shirt that was given out a while back. It's got Popeyes on the sleeve. Yeah, you might have this shirt at home yourself. You might have gone to this game and gotten the shirt. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's ridiculous, Raptors champs. And you got your should I listen to this person right here? Yeah, you're an idiot. I don't think anybody is thinking that Trae Young is a good idea at this point. Honestly, I don't think they are. Jake Caesar's in here. What's up, Jake? It's been a little while. Good to see you back in the chat. What kind of moves would you like to see at the trade deadline? Well, I don't really want to see too many. Maybe I'll say one move at the most. I don't really want to shake this team up too crazy. In some ways, some would say, well, the bench is playing so badly, we kind of need to bolster our offense off the bench. And I can get that kind of feeling. And it's why people would think that. Some of our younger players have been disappointing this year. And maybe there does need to be a business move to shock them into being like, whoa, okay, this could happen. And we need to get better so that we have a place to stay on this team. So I would say this, the one place where we have too many players is at the 2-3. And there's a guy that's, just had a baby named Valley, who's an awesome player. He's a two-way player. He's amazing. He's got good trade value. I love him. I want him to stay on the Raptors. But if Bobby traded him at the trade deadline because his contract's expiring for another big, honestly, because I feel like even though we got Mo Bamba, it would be nice to have a little bit more beef up front as far as like taking physicality and that kind of thing. So I would flip Oshai for another big is basically what I would do if I was going to do anything. And that's not even totally mandatory. I feel like if Mo Bamba continues to get better with the Raptors and he fits in well and he shows promise to contribute, we don't really need to make any moves for the rest of the year. But if we do, it'll probably be because of Oshai's contract and that we want to get ahead of it and go ahead and get an asset back for him around the trade deadline. That's the only thing I really condone. I don't condone trading any large pieces on our team. And I think that everybody just gets bored and they just love talking about trade stuff. And I hate that stuff, honestly. If I talk about it, Jake, I talk about it in a very realistic way like I just did. And I think that's it. And honestly, that's what I would do, Bobby, if you are going to do anything. And it's for housekeeping. It's to stay under the apron. It's for cap reasons. And also for the fact that if we're not going forward, if we don't have plans with Oshai for the future, putting him on the contract in this summer and bringing him back, maybe you do have that plan because you do highly value him. He's a great player. I'm not saying I don't want him. He's an excellent two-way player, but the money's going to be upticking this summer, and the Raptors have to figure out the puzzle pieces and what the budget is and whether Abaji can be a part of that plan. So, if he does a swerve and he trades a couple of those other guys like Walter or Dick, that would be interesting. But I don't see him doing that because they're still on their value rookie contracts. And see, Abaji, he's going into a higher pay after this year. And that's where the decision has to be made right there. So, yeah, that's an educated, realistic answer. And not, I want to trade for John Morant. I want to trade for Anthony Davis. I want to trade for this. I want to trade that. Yeah, that stuff isn't realistic. That stuff's ridiculous. And anybody who thought I would answer that question with any answer like that, you're crazy. Thanks for the question, Jake. It's fantastic. Let's see. All right, let's see. Kaloy's here. Good morning, Lex and fellow freaks. 22nd win alert coming. I love that, man. That sounds so awesome. 22 wins already. Yeah, we really do. Like experts are saying, we want to get 45 plus wins so that we're really in a good spot for a good playoff seed. 45 is kind of the sweet spot for wins in the season because you're above 500 and you're 3 games above 500. We're currently like 6 games above 500 right now. And if we can be like 45 plus wins, well, that means we probably got 5 or 6 or 7 games above 500 by the end of the year. And we're looking at home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. And that's the big goal right there. That's a big goal right there. Guac, 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 guac. Is that what that sounds like? The hawk? Ah! I think that's how they sound. There's like a scream. Ah! I have them in my yard, so I hear them sometimes, like making the noise. The interesting thing is Blue Jays mimic hawks, right? Did you know this, guys? This is something I learned. Yeah, the Blue Jay is such a smart bird, not just our baseball team. The Blue Jays just is such a smart bird. You know what it does for the little animals, like the chipmunks and the little birds, like the finches and stuff? If there's a hawk in the vicinity, he'll blow the hawk's cover. No, I'm not lying. You know how he does it? The Blue Jay is like a mockingbird. He can mimic other animals. So I've seen this happen in my yard. It's crazy. The birds will be on the bird feeder. A lot of little ones like goldfinch, wood thrush, gold finches, like all kinds of cool little birds. Maybe even some cardinals. And basically, a hawk will start circling above, and like it's looking for a little critter to eat, right? And the blue jay will see the hawk before the other animals, and it'll go ah like a hawk just to blow its cover, and all the other animals hear it and they run and scatter. So the blue jay is pretty cool for that. It's like a middle bird in between a hawk and a finch, and he's looking out for the little guy. He will literally impersonate a hawk and blow its cover when a hawk is in the vicinity. Did you guys know that about blue jays? There's your little nature lesson for this morning. It's topical. We're talking about hawks and blue jays. The Atlanta Hawks are in town, so don't get mad at Lex for talking about. And technically, a hawk is a raptor, so we can say that also. It was Sandro's first day of daycare yesterday. It was so hard to leave him there crying. Oh, Santino! It was Santino's first day of daycare yesterday. It was so hard to leave him there crying. Oh my gosh. Well, I've seen these videos online of the little kid going to daycare, and in the first the week or so, he's upset. But then they show him at some point where he realizes his mom's coming back, so he's not as upset anymore. So, I mean, I guess it's just growing pains, literally, and I'm sure it'll be figured out. Kaloy saying trading for Trey means we have to be second apron to keep RJ. RJ is essential. No means no. Yeah. No, we don't need any big contracts on our team. We don't need anybody to come save us. We got Brandon already. Seriously, I don't understand this. Like, we've got the pieces for our team that we need, especially if Mobamba works out and he's given us that depth at the C. Other than that, I don't have a want list beyond that. And anybody who's trying to project a want list that's beyond that, you are doing unnecessary work. You're doing unnecessary work. We don't need anybody else. We just need to get healthy. We need Yaka back, and that you're going to see a complete team after Yak's back. Seriously, you'll see a complete team then, and we'll win just fine. So it's like, why do you guys want to make a big, huge, mountainous move where it could totally screw up our team much worse and make it worse than it is right now? Right now, our team's really good, and we don't need to do any of this kind of stuff. People that are talking this too much right now are crazy, and they're in some ways they're just making a bunch of noise. It's not, how much does Bobby do knee-jerk moves? How much does he do just moves to just be flashy or make a big name around times? Like, people always think because there's deadlines, teams have to make moves to be involved and show that they're doing things. Fuck that. Teams that are good at what they do don't have to make a lot of moves because they got the draft pick right. They got the right people, and they're developing, and they don't make mistakes. Teams that have to make flashy moves at the trade deadline are usually screwed up, and they need help. So it's like, I wish more Raptors Nation would understand this and stop like being all about trade machine and just like, I just love new stuff. I just love a new player on the team. I just like shakeups. Fuck all that. That's not good for NBA teams. You want to keep the cohort together. The teams that did the best in the 80s and the 90s, their starting lineups were together for like 8 years. And they didn't shake it up, and they didn't do all this crazy switching in and out of guys. The Bulls really kept the same core for a lot of those 6 championships that they played. So it's like, come on now, y'all. The Spurs, look at them too. Manu, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan. Look at the Warriors with how long they've kept their little core together. It's still together today in some ways. So I'm telling people, it's like your lineup shouldn't be like your underwear where you switch it every day. No, no, your lineup should be very monument, like staying on the ground and staying like that and getting roots and building together and getting more familiarity. And then you could say, I played with this guy for 6 years and I know what he's going to do inside out. And him and I are like this, the way we play. You know what I'm saying? That's what Raptors fans need to realize. It's like switching players in and out all the time is not healthy for your team. And it takes you back to another level of having to start over with developing the chemistry with a new added person. I wish more fans were educated enough to understand this and stop going so crazy with, this is a huge name. I like this player. I want him to be on the Raptors. No, that's not how the NBA works. And if you all were running a team, you'd run it at the ground and they'd be losing every year. That's what I'm saying right there. No means no. That's right. That's right. Jimmy Pope is saying this. I was in Raptors Republic yesterday and they had a whole hit piece discrediting IQ's assists and saying Colin Castleton could make the same passes as him, build up our guys up, not feed the fire of hate. Yeah, I like that last message by Jimmy. I mean, it's who's doing this work? Like, get a life. Go fucking do something else. I do this channel every day, and I wouldn't do projects like that. Who the fuck are you to do those projects? Do projects for good, like Samson Folk and Kurthika. Go look at the stats and figure them out like they do. They're real analysts and metrics people. And whoever, Jabroni at Raptors Republic, was it Samson who did this? Or S? Because I know they're Raptors Republic, but I don't think it would be Samson putting this kind of bullshit out. Kind of, seriously. Samson, you're better than this if it is you. But whoever it is at Raptors Republic, they're an idiot. They're toxic, and they need to fuck off. You could tell whoever it is that I said that. Because this is like, you know what? Scientists can make all kinds of bullshit. There's a scientist bought by the oil companies to show results that climate change is not caused by oil companies. Oh, yeah, we can just make this up and just say, yeah, this is how climate change comes out. It comes out of cows' butts. It has nothing to do with the oil and cars burning stuff. No, our scientists said it, so it's proven. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that this smacks up with Raptors Republic's little bullshit article on Emmanuel Quickley and his assists. He's like, oh, we looked at the numbers and we did this. You can make fucking numbers and stats say whatever the fuck narrative you want. So you go ahead and believe this jabroni and his bullshit, wasting his damn time writing hit piece articles on our point guard Emmanuel and Raptors Republic. Fuck that guy. Two-finger salute to Raptors Republic for putting the hate out. That's right. Fuck you guys, man. What are you doing? You're not fans, are you, Raptors Republic? Fuck you guys. You're not journalists either, so don't fucking give me that shit. If you are a press pass journalist like S or Samson, I apologize. But most of y'all that are working for Raptors Republic are just fucking fans like me, and you should get off your high horse and start writing for the team instead of against the team, you pieces of shit. That's what I say to y'all right now. That's right. G's saying this. I don't understand why fans go. Hang on. I jumped ahead. Let me make sure I read the whole thing. I don't understand why fans go after players like that. How is that helpful to him? Criticism is one thing and important at times, but ridiculous comments is not helpful and can hurt a team, if anything. Well, I'm just glad that Emmanuel is protected by God and he's above it all. And in some ways, he's not hearing all that. He don't give a shit what these fans say. He has his own path and he knows what he's doing. And they could feel like, oh, maybe I'm hurting Emmanuel. Is that why y'all do this? You want to hurt Emmanuel's feelings? Well, you're not going to, because he's a professional and he's a badass. And in some ways, these people don't have an effect on him. Maybe his friends can tell him, there's a lot of noise about you right now. But he's not hearing this shit directly. He's not spending no time on social media. He has more important things to do with his life, like train and play for the Toronto Raptors. So it's like, you guys are a waste of time. Y'all just sound like haters. And honestly, anybody who's not rooting for Emmanuel to be a badass and be the best he can, you're not a Raptors fan either. I'm going to say that right now. Because we root for our team. If you're a Raptors fan, we root for our team to be successful. And if you're wishing any of the Raptors not to be successful, you're not doing the right kind of rooting. Let's just put it that way. You're not a fan. You're a hater. And in some ways, you can act like you're a Raptors fan, but you're not. Oh, no, I'm being real. You're not being real. Oh, no, I don't think you're being real because you don't understand the NBA is an ups and down league. And Emmanuel Quickley is a very productive, good player for the Toronto Raptors. And whatever bullshit you're spewing out your mouth is not right because it doesn't align with Scotty Barnes. It doesn't align with Bobby Webster. It doesn't align with Darko Rajakovic. And it doesn't align with Emmanuel Quickley's reality in his life either. Y'all are conditioned to think that Emmanuel's doing bad, but he is not. He is not. Trust me. He is not. And uneducated casual fans can go out and push this narrative that Emmanuel's so bad, but they are absolutely wrong. They are absolutely wrong. And Darko would tell them to their face that. Bobby Webster would probably tell them too. And those are the people that matter way more than any unknown jabroni in Raptors Nation that's just a hater, is what I'll say right now. Yeah, that's what I say right now. Cloy's saying Raptors Republic sucks ass now. I used to go their morning coffee section. Yeah, I haven't dealt with them in a long, long time. I have not. I used to listen to their post-game podcast with William Liu. That shows how long ago I was dealing with them. And that's like, what, 7, 8 years ago? Samson Folk, I've always enjoyed his writings and what he does as what he does. It's individuals more that I like that may be associated with Raptors Republic. And then there's a lot of jabronis that are associated with them that I do not like. So it's a case-by-case basis when it comes to that website on who I like or I don't. In some ways, I've seen that Arsenalist has kind of stepped back and maybe he's not as involved because in some ways that dude's a soccer fan. He's not a basketball fan. And him analyzing the NBA like it's Premier League soccer was never a fucking good thing to have on that site. Trust me. That was never a good thing at that point. Jimmy's saying, not like we're grown as a team and a top 4 team in the East or anything. I know. Well, that's the symbol that like these people are ridiculous. It's like we're having a good year. You should be enjoying yourself. If you're miserable as a Raptors Nation person right now, that's on your own damn fault. If you can't find enjoyment and have fun this season with Brandon Ingram playing for us and Scotty's continued evolution, I don't know what the fuck will make you happy. So just fuck off and be miserable in your own damn life and maybe keep your Raptors opinions to yourself. Maybe criticize your own life and get after yourself like you get after the Raptors instead. Maybe that's why they're deflecting. They don't want to look inwardly and see all their own personal flaws. So they're going out and looking at all the flaws of the Raptors. And that's their way they get that energy out. I don't know. These people need help is what I'm thinking. Because honestly, we need to celebrate the wins and the happiness and the good times on the Raptors when we can. Because we have had some very bad years in the last few years. And this is not a bad year. So I don't get it. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Is what I would say. Criscom's here. The great Criscom. He's been going to 905 games. He's been just being a good Raptor freak, doing all kinds of stuff. Just a reminder, we won 30 all of last year. Yeah, we won 30 games last year. We're about to win our 22nd game, and it's not even All-Star break. It's not even All-Star break yet. Yeah, let's go. Going to be tough to get this sweep versus the Hawks. Hopefully Trey plays, gives us a better chance to win. Yeah, he's already ruled out. They know. They know. He's already ruled out. Yeah, I want to see the Raptors build from the game on Saturday. I feel like they did very well. Big key for winning that game was they were very professional all 4 quarters. They may not have been professional the whole 12 minutes of each quarter, but for most of the fourth, like a lot of the quarters, a lot of the time they were playing high level with few mistakes and connection and communication with each other. And that's what we need the Raptors to do for them to be successful. When they isolate and they stop playing off each other, they do worse. So they've got to really look to get good looks and energy off of each other from passing and just looking out for each other. And also on defense, communicating and helping each other cover up where they need to get to on different rotations and switches. So, when they play as a team and when they do things as a team, they win. And that's what we need to see. And we have a better talent overall on our team. Brandon Ingram is better than any of their players on their team as far as a weapon offensively. And Scotty's the best all-around player involved in these games. So we need to out-talent them, out-depth them, and show that we have a deeper team with more valuable players going towards 12 players in than they do. Because that's a big key also. It's like we want a broad contribution across the whole roster. Even if Grady just hits 2 threes and gets a couple of steals, that's a contribution to our team winning tonight. And that's all we want right there. That's right. Yeah, I know it's going to be hard. In some ways, it's tough to beat the same team 2 games in a row. It's like a playoff series. But I'm very confident when the Raptors tonight that they're going to beat them and sweep them for the year tonight. I really am. I'm very confident about it. I'm going to tell you why I feel like this, because there's a secret weapon coming because of this. I'm going to talk about it very soon. I want to give a cliffhanger so y'all stay watching me. There's a secret weapon that's going to help the Raptors beat the Hawks tonight, and I'll go over it in a sec, man. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay's here. Good to see Shaq Lindsay, supporter of the channel. So at my wife's displeasure, I took you guys' advice and rested my hand yesterday. Okay, wait, what was this about? Told my wife I'm doing absolutely no chores in preparation for tonight's game because I'll be clapping a lot throughout the game for both teams. Oh, okay. I was like, when did we give you advice to not use your hand? You were asking us about whether you should cheer for the Raptors if you're going to the game on Nikhil Alexander Walker's ticket. That was their question yesterday. So yeah, Shaq Lindsay's going to the game tonight, and he got his ticket from one of the Hawks. Yeah, Alexander Walker. And I think that yeah, you're going to root for both teams. Okay, you know what you could do? You could root for the Raptors wholly and just root for Alexander Walker. Like root for him when he scores. You know, you don't have to fully root for the Hawks, do you? You could just root for the guy who got you the ticket, right? Could you do that? That stuff about chores and not using your hand, well, that's on you, man. Don't try and bring us into that, saying that blame us. Tell your wife, oh, the Raptor Street told me not to use my hand today because I need it tomorrow to clap at the basketball game. It's like, no, don't bring us in on this. We did not tell him that, Shaq Lindsay's wife. We did not tell him to do that. We just told him we were just giving him advice on how to cheer for the game. We never told you that. Well, that's your reasoning. All right. Well, I don't want to blow your cover here. Kaloy saying, jealous for you, Shaq. Please go crazy as the camera pans over you. I want to know where you're going to be sitting. And I know you'll come in the stream later this week and you'll give us the down low on how the experience was, where you were sitting, and maybe if there was any interesting interactions or any kind of fun stuff. Please let us know how the game goes. We got our Raptor Freak in the house tonight. We'll be Shaq Lindsay at the game tonight. This is good. We've been covering a lot of bases lately. It seems like even for 905 games, we've had somebody in the house as a witness from the RFF at a lot of games recently, which is awesome. Like Chris Scum going to 905. We had somebody else went to 905 the other day too for the first time. And yeah, we have people going to the Raptors games too. In fact, Monique went to the Hawks game on Saturday, and she messaged on the chat yesterday that she saw my friend Steve at the game. Steve messaged me before the game on Saturday, our regular Just Win ritual to help the Raptors win. And he said, I'm going to the game. And I'm like, oh, really? You're going to the game? Okay, well, bring him the W, bro. And I guess he was in a section near Superfan Mo because they ran into each other and had a moment and said hi. I love that. I love that. You know, bringing people together. I know Nameless has run into Mo at the game before in the past. I love when Raptor Freaks run into each other and they hang out and see each other, even if I'm not there. I think that's awesome. And it's so awesome that Steve ran into Mo and they had a moment to just conversate and get along. Those are two of my best friends. And when two of my best friends get to run into each other, that's always a good thing. That's always a good thing right there. Wayne saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Game day. That's right. Game day. And I want to do the Instagram stories because this is where I'm going to tell y'all about our secret weapon. First of all, AJ Lawson and Sandro Mamu and Kia Nurse were doing some sort of weird game show at Good Life Fitness. It was Kia was the host and Sandra was the visitor and AJ was the home team, being from Brampton. And I guess they were asking them trivia questions. I don't know what this clip or format is going to be. We'll probably see it on TV at some point. Maybe it's a commercial for Good Life or something on Raptors. But either way, AJ versus Sandro in some sort of trivia or maybe even like gym competitions where they're like lifting weights and doing stuff like that. I don't know. Kia Nurse is the host though. So it's very, very cool. We'll have to see what this comes out, what the hell this is exactly. I'm not totally sure. There's Norman getting the 9 3-pointers made. He's also got a new episode out on the Understand the Grind YouTube channel. There's Amy Audibert interviewing him after the game. He said, I just let it fly is what he did, making 9 threes. Look at that. Go on then, Norman, with 9 triples in one game for the Miami Heat's Norman Powell. Grinding it. Sandro Mamu, I think he had one of his friends from the Georgian team in town. I think that's who that guy is. I kind of recognize these dudes. They look like Georgian players from the national team. I think Mamu had them in town, and he's hanging out with them. There he is in the game show with AJ and Kia. I want to know what this clip is. It looks interesting. There's Eric Smith showing the guys dancing the other day. Jacoby, Garrett, and Jonathan. Jonathan's a little off. That's okay. He's trying. Eric Smith's also celebrating the rushing title for the Buffalo Bills running back. He's won the rushing leader of most rushing yards this year. That's interesting. All right, here's the secret weapon, guys. Scotty posted this last night, 10 hours ago. His heart can't take this pain, man. Every year, man. My Ravens. Yeah. And then he posts the score. The Ravens lost to the Steelers yesterday. Crushing loss by 2 points, 26-24. And Scotty's saying, you can't make this shit up, is what he's saying. And listen, Scotty, he said it was a Rod Wave type of night last night, and he's playing Rod Wave in his feelings. This is interesting. I know Scotty's a big Lamar Jackson fan. I know that Scotty's a Ravens fan. I know that Emmanuel's a Ravens fan also. I know that these guys love this football team a lot. And I know that, like Scotty said, it's tough being a Ravens fan because it seems like around this time of year, there's failure. Well, Scotty, man, the thing I love about this is Scotty is a fan. He's a fan himself. We're fans of him and his team, but he's a fan of Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And in some ways, the fan's mind of Scotty is he's emotional with the team. He ride or dies with the team, the Ravens. And when they have failure, when they have things, he feels it. He feels it is what I'm seeing here. Like he really feels it. So, if I winders this, I'm like, wait a second. He really feels this shit when the Ravens are unsuccessful. I know he feels it when we're unsuccessful as a team too, and he doesn't want that. So I'm telling you, man, in some ways, the energy that Scott's feeling about the Ravens' failure yesterday will feed his play today. I'm gonna bet you money, because in some ways, that fear of failure, that fear of losing, of seeing his beloved NFL team go down like this, do you think that maybe that may make him come up and come at this game tonight against the Hawks with more eye of the tiger, like we're going to take you down, because I don't want to feel that feeling. In fact, I hate that feeling as an athlete in the NBA and playing in NBA games. I hate when we lose. I don't want to feel that, like I felt it with the Ravens last night. I mean, that makes sense to me. I don't know about y'all. That makes a lot of sense to me. Let's see, what else do we got on the Instagram? Jared Roden spent New Year's Eve in Luxembourg, which is pretty cool. He said Luxembourg was different for New Year's. I bet it was. I bet it was different. I bet it very much was. Let's see what else. Fred VanVleet was taking questions from fans yesterday, doing a live call-in. I did not get on there, guys, and I didn't get in there because it happened at a time when I was busy and I didn't see the call. So we'll have to see what happens on the next Unguarded podcast episode with Fred VanVleet interacting with callers, calling into the show and asking them questions and stuff. That'll be interesting. Let's see, who else do we got on here? Let's see, Kyle Lowry's wishing a happy birthday to former Raptors assistant coach Mark Tyndale, who's now with the New York Knicks. So yeah, he's a good friend from Raptors times for him. Let's see, Zach Edey has got the all-time career assist leader from Purdue or something like that. And he's got a dog that's getting treats for him. That's pretty cool. Let's see, Grady and Oshai are both mourning the loss of a legend for Kansas. Scott Scooter Ward, who's a guy who was a fan, I believe, of the Kansas Jayhawks and been to a lot of their games. And a lot of the athletes and the boosters love him. So rest in peace, Scott Scooter Ward, who's been noted both by Grady and Oshai yesterday on their Instagrams. Let's see, Kelly Olynyk heading the game wearing a blue shirt, a blue T-shirt. That's it. Let's see what else. I think that's it. Where in the world is Serge Ibaka? It looks like he's in Paris, France, and it is snowing. Is where he is right now. He's in Paris. So yeah, there's your Instagram stories for today. Scotty is mourning the Baltimore Ravens today. Maybe that gives him a little extra oomph to come out and kick the Atlanta Hawks ass tonight because he's feeling the anger of the Ravens' loss. That could be interesting, man. That could be very, very, very interesting. Let's see. Good games here saying, haha, Shaq, good stuff. Way to prepare for tonight. Yeah, no chores, honey. I have to save this hand for clapping. Why don't you say both hands if it's clapping, right? I can't do the chore with my right hand because I'm clapping. My left hand's fine. We can do the chore with the left hand, but not the right hand because it's it's on the IL a little bit. And I have to save the energy for it for the Hawks game. Sorry, honey. What do you mean? This sounds like bullshit. Get in there right now. I can only imagine. That's a dramatic reenactment. That's not the true way it went down, I'm sure. Let's see. Randolph's here. Good morning to Randolph. Game day blessings, beloved Raptors Freak family. Keep an open mind and always be willing to listen and learn. Never tell yourself that you know it all. Be teachable. This is so important. Seriously. You know, you have to be able to take in new facts as you get older and change your perceptions, change the way you think because new evidence comes out. So many people get their dogma early in their life and they just feel like this is just how it is and it will never change. Well, those people are closed minded and they're wrong and they're absolutely not intelligent people. You have to be a student your whole life. You have to be open to learning new ideas and new ways of doing things because if you don't, in some ways you're getting left behind. So, man, it's crazy. Facts can change over time because science proves facts, and faith does not prove facts. Faith is something totally different. So, if science changes the news and changes the facts about situations, you should go with it, even if it contradicts faith and things that you think you were taught, maybe by the Bible or stuff like that. Science, in some ways, is more important because science is reality. Faith is in some ways magical and it is something that's very powerful and necessary and real in this world, but it's not exactly the same. It's not exactly the same. The smartest people in the world know they know nothing. Let's just put it that way. The people that think they know everything are some of the dumbest people in the world. Let's just put it that way. Blessings to the Phillips family, all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Good to see you, Randolph. Shaq Lindsay saying, not too crazy. I'm scared Nikhil's mom might see me. Well, what are you worried about? Like maybe you could talk to them before and get it organized. Or maybe you just go to this game and you just don't do anything. I'm telling you, maybe you just are quiet. Maybe you're just quiet for this game. You don't have to be too cool for school. Just sit there and watch. Enjoy it. Maybe you're cheering on the inside. Maybe if somebody looked at you in the face while the Raptors are scoring and they'd see you just lit up like a Christmas tree. And Shaq Lindsay's happy, but he's not showing it outwardly. You can see it in his eyes. I don't know, man. I don't know how you do this, man. In some ways, this is not a huge deal. I think you're freaking out about this, and I think that you don't need to. I think that everybody is reasonable people. And if you are cheering for the home team because you're at home and you like the Raptors, I mean, are they going to get that mad at you? I mean, Nikhil probably cheered for the Raptors when he was a kid and came to the game. So it's like, does the family cheer for the Raptors to a degree after the family? Maybe. So I don't know. Maybe you're overanalyzing this too much. There is the possibility that you, once again, could cheer for him as an individual and still cheer for our team. I don't know, man. I think we're overanalyzing this, but hey, these are problems for our guy, our Raptor freak, Shaq Lindsay. Hey, we're gonna try and help him. We're gonna try and help him. Raptors champs is saying people need to remember that we have a championship development squad. We don't need any more large contracts. Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's management. That is managing things correctly. Once again, I'll say people that make drastic trades in the middle of the season that have to do big shakeups, that means their team was screwed up and that they fucked up their job beforehand. Bobby's doing fine. I don't see him screwing up that bad. People may say the IQ contract because that's in vogue right now, but that's not a screw up. We got a very good quality guard locked down on our team for the next few years. And some people say, well, I don't want that. Well, are you just prejudiced at this point? Are you just on this pile on Emmanuel and we don't even care about giving him a chance at this point because we just want to pile on him or I'm just against him? Like, what is this energy? Seriously, what is this energy? If you're not for the Raptors, you're not for the Raptors, is what I'm saying right now. And you can't just pick and choose which Raptors you're for unless they're absolutely hurting our team badly. And Emmanuel is not hurting our team badly. He may hurt our team on some possessions, but overall, he's a plus and he's helping our team win more. And people, casuals may not be able to see that. That's part of the problem. That's right. Jimmy's saying it was Sampson that wrote the article about IQ. Well, I'm very disappointed in Sampson then, writing that bullshit. Why'd you do that, Sampson Folk? Of course it was Sampson. None of the other people at Raptors Republic are smart enough to do an analysis like that or would even do the work. Of course it was Sampson. Like, why are you doing this, Sampson Folk? All right, this is very rare, guys. 2-finger salute for Sampson Folk. Two-finger salute for Samson Folk putting out Dissin IQ material. He's doing that. Meanwhile, I'm writing parody Christmas songs about the legend of Emmanuel coming back and proving everybody he's going to be a badass worth his contract. So, yeah, you do your thing, Samson, in your world of analytics. I'll do mine in my Yankovic world of songs. And I will write a badass parody song for Christmas about Emmanuel quickly hitting threes and becoming a badass that everybody loves in the Raptors Nation. Because that's what I want. I don't want everybody coming after him with pitchforks and torches, and you're feeding the gun, Samson Folk. I'm disappointed in you, man. What are you doing, bro? Come on, man. Use your forces for good. I wrote Karthika once about this. I wrote her a message one day on Twitter. I said, why do you put all these bad stats on the Raptors out all the time? It's horrible. We don't need this. You're kind of shaping crazy people in our nation to go crazy with opinions and stuff. And she actually changed her way of doing fun factoids and stuff like that. She does come out with negative ones every once in a while, but she's more cognizant of whether it is on the positive or negative side in what she's putting out. And I appreciate her for that, because some people don't think about that. They just want to make content. You just want clicks. You just want engagement. Is that what you fucking do this bullshit for? This crazy shit? I mean, look, I can get an audience. I can get people to click on my shows even without being negative and going after people with clickbait titles and all that kind of bullshit. Seriously, there's another way. There's a truer way. There's a more authentic way. But in some ways, man, I'm so disappointed in Samson. Why'd you do this, Samson? Why'd you do this, man? Kaloy saying it's really frustrating. I was playing 2K and back to back. I have Grady scoring 30 on all threes. So easy to shoot threes with him there. Snap out of it, Grady, and go crazy tonight. You know, I did see in one of the threes he made in the last game a higher arc with rotation, like from the corner. He made a shot from the corner that had better arc and better rotation. All right, we got a call today, guys. It's a preview day, which is a reaction, but we'll go ahead and take it. Stargate, you're on the air. Let me wait. I got to get the speaker on. Here you go, Stargate.
Yeah, you got
okay. Me? Yeah, I got you now.
Okay, perfect. I just want to call in briefly and talk about this whole IQ slander, man.
Yeah.
It is so nonsensical. As I've written so many times, this team is 6 games over 500. No one expected the team to be as successful as they are right now. I mean, they're playing well, and what people are choosing to focus on is Emmanuel quickly and his perceived negative traits. Right? Remember, all of this is perceived. You know, it's not real. It's not real.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the big thing is, if he was in so much trouble, would Darko be benching him? If he was in so much trouble, would he be punishing him? You know, I don't see that. And people may have taken him getting benched as being punishment. That wasn't punishment. That was just good coaching at that time.
Not only that, if he was so detrimental to the team would have a worse record.
Yeah.
You know, come on, guys. Focus on what's happening here. This team is in 2.5 years into a rebuild.
Yeah.
Only 2.5 years into a rebuild. They're 6 games over 500.
Yeah.
In 4th place in the East.
Yeah.
And this is what people are choosing to focus on.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere I go, I know yesterday you were kind of pushing back on me about people, not focusing on people. But I can understand if it's, certain people. But when I see people like,
Samson
and Rose and Samson,
yeah,
right, just piling onto it, gaslighting this whole IQ thing. It's like, instead of focusing on, hey, look at where this team was last year, look at where it is this year.
Yeah,
let's move forward. It's almost like if certain people are just not accustomed to knowing how to behave when you're building towards something,
or when you're successful.
Yeah, or even trying to be successful. It's either they have to be on top, like the best of the best, or they have to be down at the bottom. No one has the patience to build towards something. Like come on, it's annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with anything you're saying here. Yeah, I think that it's a good distinction. You're between common jabroni that's just writing comments on social media, but between respected, well-liked Raptors journalists who absolutely get an audience and have an influence on how people feel. Yeah, you guys got to be more responsible. William Liu, Samson Folk, Alex Wong, people like that. Y'all need to be more responsible because you have an influence and people parrot your bullshit. And
And here's
yeah,
the new narrative, Lex. Here's the new narrative right now. Everyone is talking about trading for Trae Young. What has tell me, how is Trae Young going to make this team a better team?
you,
What has he done in his career
you know
for
what I
you to
think.
say
You know why I
that?
think. You know why I
Go
think
ahead.
they're doing this is because of the weird little conversation Scotty had with Trey at the end of the game. They're friends. They're fine. It's not even like anything like that. But maybe some idiot sees Scotty. Oh, Scotty likes Trey Young, and then they like extrapolate. They Winders in their heads. That means we should get him instead of Emmanuel.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's a weird way of thinking. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, I
Well,
don't understand.
in some ways, we don't need to because you know what? We're true ones. We're real ones for the team. We're Raptor freaks. And in some ways, we can be above the noise and silent, or we can support the team loudly or silently, the right, positive, productive way. And hopefully, the team knows that the real ones out there like us for them and not coming with the knives in the back of quickly right now.
Here,
Yeah.
here, here,
Yeah.
here. All
All
right, man.
all right,
Have a good
Mo.
day, man.
I'm glad you got this burning desire off your chest here to
Yeah.
talk
All
about
right.
this. Seriously. And I appreciate you, Stargate. I hope you have a good Monday. And let's go, Raptors.
Go Raptors.
Yeah, that's what we got to get back to every time. It's like, look, fans, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you love the team? Do you want to see us win more championships? Do you want us to be successful in the playoffs? Then why are you tearing down one of our leaders? Why are you tearing down one of our important players? Where do you get from this? What do you get from this? A little ego boost for yourself at home or something like that? Who cares? That shit is fleeting and it's not worth anything. In some ways, you could be doing damage to our team with your bullshit. And yeah, why? Why, Samson? Why, Samson? Why? Why would you do this, you idiot? Come on now. You don't need to be doing this, man. You're smarter than this. Why would you do this about Emmanuel? You trying to get him off the team? Are you witch hunting him? Are you out there with the torch? I hate Emmanuel. I want to get him off this team. Why'd you do this, Samson Folk? That's what I'm wondering right now. I hope you watch me. I hope you see what I just said. Seriously. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, I would like to see Grady go crazy too, like the video game, but that's the difference. That's why people that play the video games have no idea what the game really is like, is because the video game is the video game. It's not real life. And Grady Dick has real life situations he's dealing with his shot that don't make him shoot like he does on 2K. So we got to get this fixed. But as I was saying, I did see promise in the height of his arc and the rotation on the couple of threes that he made on Sunday against the Hawks. So maybe he's starting to get his mechanics back to shoot better because he was shooting really flat with no rotation during the slump. Very, very flat shot and like barely spinning. If you get that spin going good and get that ball up, Grady, you'll make more. Seriously. Shaq Lindsay saying, good thing she's at courtside, but she knows where I'm sitting. Well, if she's not anywhere near you, do what you do, bro. I think that you're over worrying about this. I think you are. I think you are. I think you can be fine. In some ways, you can make it cheeky and fun. I mean, is it because you're worried about not getting invited ever again? Because you just come in full effect Raptors freak, and you're like, oh no, I'm just rooting for the Toronto Raptors. I'm sorry, Nikhil. I'm sorry, Alexander Walker family. I don't know, man. This is a weird conundrum. In some ways, I would just go with the flow and do what you feel natural comes to you. That's what I'd say right there. That's what I'd say right there. Jamil Joseph's here. Good to see you again, man. Wagwan, freaky raptor. Is Jam Joss. Oh, Jam Joss. Good to see you, man. I'm annoyed they let go of Ben Carlson still. Ben Carlson. Brandon Carlson. You're still annoyed about that. Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge deal. I mean, he's like a Colin Castleton. It's just he's just a dude. It's in the league, and like there's a level that he's at that he's fine. I get it. People liked him because he could hit threes, and he seemed like he could be a good backup center. But man, that's so long ago. And Brendan Carlson got that ring yesterday or last year for the championship with Oklahoma City. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I have no regrets over this myself, though. I have no regrets myself. But good to see you, Jam Joss. Good to see you back in the chat, man. Let's see. Trevor saying, I feel sorry for the Pacers. They lost 12 games in a row and they're 6-30 in the season. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Wow. 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 Yeah. Well, Siakam's back in it, man. He had joy seasons with Indiana the last 2 years, and now this year is back in that tough place. And I just hope he's not too depressed. He's been through this before, and he's a tough, solid vet that kind of understands it. So maybe he handles it way better. But yeah, I knew the Pacers were in trouble this year. I mean, it wasn't just losing Halliburton, it was losing Turner. And, you know, it's just what it is. Somebody's got to be at the bottom. And, well, they're down there where I thought they'd be, just like Milwaukee. I said Milwaukee be down there too. Trevor's saying to Shaq Lindsay, say hi to Nicole for me. So, yeah, Trevor J says hi to Nicole, Shaq Lindsay. All right. Stargate saying, I feel sorry for no team. When we were in the doldrums, nobody in their fans felt sorry for us. As a matter of fact, they would pile it on us. So fuck him. Take the L's. I'm a little bit more humanitarian than this. I mean, I do feel for Rick Carlisle and the Pacers to go from such a high of, so close to winning a championship. They had a game 7 that they could have won and won a championship. That was so close to being at this point now. I can feel sorry for them. I have a heart. In some ways, you want to be cold-blooded like that. There may be other fans in other nations that felt sorry for the Raptors at different times. I'll bet some of them felt sorry for us when we had to play in Tampa. And they were kind of like, man, this sucks. Look at what the Raptors have to do. They have to play in a away arena their whole entire season this year. That's not totally fair. I feel bad for them. You may be surprised. These are usually the people that are nice and sympathetic and great, awesome, all-around human beings are the quiet ones that aren't saying anything. It's all the shitty people that are so loud. Blackhawks stepping into the chat, and Stargate saying trading for Trey means we lose all the momentum we have in progressing to another championship and regress back to a bottom feeder. Some of you folks need to stop playing the 2K and get with reality. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's that bad. I just think that it's not a non-starter. I don't think Bobby's dumb. Do you think Bobby's dumb? Because people that think Bobby's dumb would think maybe he would do this deal. He's not going to do this deal. He has nothing to do with Trae Young. And honestly, this is one of those things where it's like, if you traded for Trae Young, I might tell people to fire you, Bobby. I said that about Anthony Davis. If you trade and get Anthony Davis and mess up our team right now just to get Anthony Davis or Trae Young, yeah, Bobby, you might get me to turn on you. And I might be advocating for you to be fired if you do a move like that. So if I have to I don't know if I'm scaring him, but I'll threaten him with that. So don't bring Trae Young to Toronto. Please don't bring Trae Young to Toronto. And, know that if you do, I might have to turn on you. Is what I'll say to that. Yeah, Seymour's here. Good to see the sheriff, Seymour Pape, laughing out loud. Stargate saying also, Treat is not a winning player. Trey is not a winning player. Flash and dash means fuck all when it comes to championships. Yeah, he's a defensive liability, and it's shown in the stats and the record of the Atlanta Hawks this year as far as when he's been present and when he hasn't. There's a stark difference. They lose way more when he's present, and when he's not, they're winning. So the writing's on the wall. He's done there. And whatever thing's going to happen with him, who knows? Maybe he gets swapped for LaMelo Ball, and he's a Hornet next year, and LaMelo Ball's a Hawk. It could be something like that, the way it goes. Or Zion. Zion's another one. There's a couple of different guys. Maybe Anthony Davis, Hawks deal is going to happen, where Trae Young goes to the Mavericks, which is weird because that whole thing with him and Luka on draft day. And then Anthony Davis is an Atlanta Hawk all of a sudden. I mean, that's much more likely. This is the thing, Raptors Nation. You guys understand, we're doing good. We have a good team. We're not in trouble. And these other teams have problems. Problem players that they don't necessarily want anymore and they're trying to move on from. Those are the teams that should be trading with each other. Not us, who don't have any issues. We don't need to trade nobody. We are fine in our path we're doing right now, and we need to continue to progress and develop from it and not add a big, huge thing. It's crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. Daniel Franklin's back in the chat. Good to see you, Daniel. What do people think about James Harden? Clippers might try to sell come the trade deadline. Trey would be awful. Doesn't play defense. Well, I'd say the same thing about James, honestly. And the track record for James in his career is no championships. So why would we want to go get him? In fact, he fails miserably in the playoffs quite often. He also disappears in the playoffs when you need him the most. He'll play really good during the regular season. He'll be a very selfish player and make a lot of points. And then when you need him to carry you in the playoffs, he disappears. That's been a pattern with him in his career. So no, James Harden is over the hill in some ways. He's been around this league for so long, and in some ways, he's just a proven non-winning player, just like Trae Young. And they're similar. They're similar in some ways. So yeah, no, I wouldn't want James Harden in a Raptors jersey. It's too late. If you asked me if I wanted James Harden 15 years ago, yeah, yeah, I love James Harden when he was younger, when he was closer to his Thunder days because he was still a piece of clay that could be molded in some ways. And maybe if he came to Toronto earlier at that time, we could have molded him into a better defender overall. And in some ways, that would have helped things a lot. Wow, that squirrel just went through the really deep snow to get to the stump. That's cool, man. That's cool. Sorry, ADHD, checking out a squirrel in the snow doing stuff out there. That's crazy. Yeah. Good. Thank you for the question, Daniel. Kespra is back. Good to see my fact checker, Kespra. If we trade for Trey, we could resemble how the Bucks traded for Lillard. Circus hoops shooting, but too flawed to get to the finals. This is the thing. Dame Lillard was such a slam dunk for the Milwaukee Bucks that everybody just penciled them in to be a championship contender and all this kind of stuff. Too good to be true. And I'm telling you this right now: if Lillard can't have that kind of effect going to a team with Giannis, then this kind of stuff is fool's gold. I'm telling you guys, just because you link up big names doesn't mean it's going to add up to things. And the Lakers will find that out with what they're doing with Luka and LeBron. The teams will find this out. These super teams don't work like they used to. They have to be, the super team era really was Boston and Miami in the 2000s. And then everything else has kind of been a sham or kind of fucked up and actually hasn't really worked as a super team concept, whether it's the Brooklyn Nets a few years ago. A lot of these teams where they throw these guys together and say, yeah, we're going to win now because we have a stackable talent. It usually doesn't work that way. And the Bucks were a good example of that with Lillard. And I would say this: Lillard's a much better defensive player than those other two guys we just talked about, Young and Harden. If he can't do it with that, then you think that those guys can do it? Yeah. No. I'm with Kesper on this. I'm with him on this. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay's saying, Trevor, Nicole, what a small world. Well, Trevor's in that hair biz. He knows people. That's right. Daniel's saying, great win over the Hawks. I'd love to see the Raps come out and play hard right from the start. It seems like we consistently lose the first 10 minutes of the game. Yeah, that has been something that we have had a pattern of doing a lot, but in some ways that didn't happen on Saturday, did it? Not against the Hawks on Saturday. We jumped out at a good start last game, and that was awesome because that's part of why I was saying if we could be more professional in each of the quarters of the game, that means taking care of the ball, making our shots, and playing better. And when we do that, especially at the beginning of the game, we get better outcomes later instead of having deficits to overtake. So I'm with you totally on this, Daniel. And hopefully they can do a similar thing to what they did on Saturday, which was come out with a consistent start that set them up for really good success for the rest of the game. It is really important. You're exactly right. And that's why I'm a huge advocate for them to go inside first before they take a cold three. They did take a cold three as their first shot last game. It was RJ. He did a little heat check right at the beginning of the game, took a three without bringing the ball in. I didn't like that, but it's RJ. So in some ways, I'll let him get away with it just because he's a hometown hero. And he is kind of like that he could maybe hit that three right away at the beginning. But after they missed that three, well, they did go inside and get a paint touch, and then they did score on their next possession. So, I just hate when they just try and shoot a bunch of threes at the beginning. That's the biggest problem with this, Daniel, is when they settle for those lazy threes from the start, they're not establishing paint presence, and they're really kind of choking their offense off already at the beginning of the game to make it stagnant. Because if you don't get inside, they're going to keep you outside, and you're going to just miss threes outside. You're going to build a brick house. And we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. Chloe's saying, would it be also a fireable offense for Bobby to trade for Trey, Lex? That's what I was saying earlier. You said that before I said that. Yeah. You knew that, Chloe. That's funny, man. That's funny. Shaq Lindsay's saying, let me guess. Gail and Nicole used to get their hair done by you when you were up by the Danforth. Probably. That's probably right. That's probably exactly right. Yeah, Trevor may not live in Canada anymore right now. He does have a place here, though, and he has a lot of deep roots here still. So he knows a lot of people in the Toronto community, even though he lives in Fort Lauderdale. That's right. Yeah, I bet that's exactly what it is, Shaq Lindsay. Daniel's saying this. I don't think there's anything wrong with criticizing players. They're making millions of dollars to play basketball. They can take the heat. The question is, what's better than IQ? And it's hard to see it. Okay, I like how he said that. He's saying, well, what is better than him? It's hard to see what is better than him. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's such a tough position, and nobody's going to be perfect at it. And I'd say that he has an interesting player build as a player that's very useful, unorthodox to a degree, but just very useful still. And that's what people aren't getting. He's not playing well right now in some ways, but he could be playing even better in some ways. And all of a sudden, everybody would be like, yeah, we need to shut up about him. And that's what I'm waiting for, because I know he can get to a level of consistency with his shot that's better. And then a lot of people will shut up. If he starts shooting 7 for 11 from the field more often instead of like 5 for 15, he will look so much better to people. And then all of a sudden they'll be like, yeah, I'm not mad at him. And the other thing that'll really get him ingratiated with the fans is if he hits some buzzer beaters or big time clutch shots late in games to help us. And I thought the Golden State game was an evidence of this, that people could put that in front of their heads. But no, they had to see him get benched against Orlando the next night, and they piled on from that, not really remembering that Emmanuel absolutely keyed the victory over the Warriors in that overtime victory on Sunday last week. We don't get the overtime without Emmanuel hitting those threes in the fourth. And he hit them at clutch time, and they were very important. And everybody so quickly forgets that in the next game when Shed gets the fourth quarter minutes and everybody piles on IQ then. Like, wait a second. Didn't you see what he did against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors the day before, Raptors fans? Come on. Come on now. He's very useful. That's the thing. I agree with what Daniel's saying. There's a difference between constructive criticism and just piling on. Seriously. Now, maybe you could make a case that Sampson's article is constructive criticism. I don't know. I didn't read it. I'm just going by what y'all told me. Maybe, but in some ways also, what's the whole point of that? Seriously. Because in some ways you're building a case for why people would want him to leave the team, Sampson. What's the point of that? What's the point of that? Seriously, that's the problem right there. Daniel, man, great to see you. Great comments today, man. Kaloy saying Stargate's 100%. Yeah, with the call. Shaq Lindsay saying, I've never met a more stronger woman than Nicole, not physically, laugh out loud, but character-wise. She did a great job raising her son as a single mother. There you go. There you go. There's a lot of stories like that in our society that should be championed and celebrated and put on the forefront way more and more. There should be awards for women like her. Seriously, there should be. Seymour saying, damn, OKC don't look so superior anymore. Anybody can get it. Yeah, I've heard of since the Spurs kind of like kryptonited them with what they do to them and beating them, the Oklahoma City Thunder have looked more human and a little bit more normal, and they're getting L's a little bit more often now. That's interesting. Kaloy saying, my fear is that Trey's value is too low, that we can get him for garbage seconds and salary matching. Well, in some ways, when you start talking about that, maybe there is value in getting him. Like if his value is that low. Either way, I'm not that interested in him. I really am not. And Raptors fans, that you just like the new shiny toy or not shiny bright object that's in the periphery of, oh, I want that. I want that. Yeah, you act like little toddlers and their crib, looking at the little things above them, playing with them. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing right there. That's right. Grow up here and think about it realistically in real world terms. Is what I'm saying. Raptors Champs is saying IQ actually helps winning. Darko is learning how to use his strengths by playing him with Shed. It used to be RJ on chopping block, and now it's IQ. That's what I'm saying. It's very, in some ways, that's the fingerprints of New York Nation. I'm telling you, I keep saying this. A lot of the distraction noise in Raptors spaces is not actually from our people. It's from other places in the NBA just to get our fans riled up. Like, really, this is what it is nowadays. The modern NBA, all 30 teams, you have a team that hates you. Like the Rockets hate the Spurs. So the Spurs have a game and Wemby doesn't play well. All of a sudden, Rockets fans come in and they act like they're Spurs fans. And they say, whoa, Wemby isn't as good as we thought. Maybe we need to start thinking about maybe a future without Wemby, since Castle and Harper and all these guys are good. And they'll start building a case within their web pages. And there is a real movement for this. What I'm talking about right now. What I'm saying is not made up. This is something that is actually going on in Spurs Nation, that crazy ass Spurs fans, who they say they're Spurs fans, think that they should not be building around Wemby. Like, Does that make any fucking sense? Right? That's what I'm saying. So understand this. And the fact that it's centered around the two former New York Knicks, a lot of this energy the last 2 years tells you everything. So once again, I'll tell Raptors Nation, you want to be sheep and follow a New York Knickerbocker shepherd in the social media spaces of making up all kind of bullshit. That's your choice. That's your choice. I'll stay true to my team. I'm gonna stay true to rooting for them and believing in them and wanting the best for them. And you guys, some of y'all in Raptors Nation, you can go ahead and follow Nick narratives on the down low because that's what this is, man. And that the reason they can't go at RJ anymore is because he's just too damn good. And the truth is absolutely apparent. And they know they can't make up any kind of valid argument against RJ at this point because they started with him because he's a hometown hero and they're jealous. They hate that he plays for Toronto. In some ways, a lot of Knicks fans loved RJ very much, and we're a division rival, and they don't like the Raptors. And him being on his hometown team, they're haters about that. So can you see how that energy would fuel the hate against RJ on our team? And it did in the first 2 years of him being on our team. And well, now that RJ is like just so truthful in what he is and how important he is to our team, they can't really do it as effectively because they're meeting a lot of resistance from real ones like us saying, no, he's our hometown hero. We love him. So what do? They figure out the next person on our team that may be doing badly and they pick them apart next. And it's just so convenient that it's their former Nick, Emmanuel Quickly. So I wish people could understand the mechanisms of all this at this point and understand that we're not individually special in this. That I just described, Rockets fans screwing around with Spurs fans and subterfuge and the privacy of social media and being anonymous and putting out information. So why can't we understand that here? I mean, seriously, Samson Folk, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Is what I'm saying right now. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying, I'm definitely touching down for the playoffs. Might be one game, but hey, I'm gonna make it happen. You do, that's your jersey right there. That's your jersey right there. Keon Clark jersey right there. That number 7 sitting on the wall behind me. That is your jersey if you're coming. Seriously. You see it. It's right there. That's your jersey. That's a Keon Clark jersey. That's right. That's right. Daniel saying Pacers are tanking. And we'll get a solid 2026 pick in the great year, and the Pacers will probably be competitive next year. Getting Halliburton back and that, yeah. So it's just a down year, a year that we thought would be similar with the Celtics, but the Celtics are decided that's not the plan. Yeah, I thought that was the plan for the Celtics too. Stargate saying at Kaloy, salary aside, what has Trae Young ever done in his career to make you think he is going to make this Raptor team a better team than it is now? What is his little shiver gesture after he shoots a 3? He's just a really good scorer, and he's somebody that's interesting as a player build, but he has major flaws. And the flaws may be more important than the bonuses that he has. That's the thing right there. That's the thing. Kaloy said, I am in the no trade means no trade train, Stargate. My fear is that he will be so cheap that Bobby can't say no. I don't think that'll happen. Even if his value seems low, some dumb team will overpay for him a little bit more than what we would be willing to pay. Seriously. So I think that Trae is just around the team right now because we're playing them, and this is the flavor of the week for the Raptors fans to get all about a shiny object. Whether it's Ja Morant earlier this season, Anthony Davis, these names they get bandied around our fan nation for just a little period. It's like it expires like milk. So Trae Young's just the fresh one right now. And trust me, that'll sour and spoil and go away, and it won't be something that's set in the forefront at some point. I think it's stupid. I think honestly, it's just a part of the baton of noise that just needs to be around. Oh, who's the big name that the Raptors nation can go crazy and infer that we should get them on our team, which is absolutely usually unrealistic and is not a winning move. I mean, that's what I think right there. Yeah. What would that be a fireable offense? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. To me, I think it's irresponsible GMing if Bobby Webster traded some important big salary players on our team for Trae Young. Yeah, I would say that. I would not want Trae Young over IQ. And anybody in our fan nation saying they want Trae Young over IQ, you're crazy. Seriously. And you may think I'm crazy for saying that, but I know what it takes to winning basketball. You may think you just like him because he's a good scorer. He's not a winning player. and he will get in the way of you winning championships. Seriously, because he's so high usage and he's so important to any team that he's on, and he's a flawed player that will never win a championship. So, Raptors fans, if you're saying you want Trae Young on this team, you're saying basically, I don't want any Larry O'Briens while he's still playing for us. Because that's basically it right there. That's basically it. I can see IQ winning Larry O'Brien's because he has the kind of traits that will get you there. Trae Young does not. He does not. And that's what I say to people right now. Stargate saying IQ is working just fine. Yes, 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 and yes. Hang on. Where I jumped ahead. La, 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 la. He does have a few things to work on, and he is, but he is not doing anything detrimental to the team, or the team would have a worse record right now. So lay off of IQ. He's really playing a lot more conservative than he did before. He was a way more wild. And in the years that he's been on the Raptors, his recent play has been more reined in. It's very much more methodical and plotted out instead of artistic and free flowing and kind of improvisational. He's really, really kind of been playing a lot more, like I said, reined in. He's very more conscious and he's very more thinking. In some ways, he can play where he doesn't think, and he just kind of is expressionist painting. It's just like splatter paint. I can play like that, or I can try and paint like Whistler's mother and be like more detailed oriented and like form. Or he can be that crazy abstract painter too. So that's the thing. And that abstract painting kind of way he plays can actually be very helpful in certain times and modes. But a lot of the time, it is better for him to rein it in and be more, painting between the lines. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense what I just said in that analogy? Because I really do get the energy from him right now that he is trying to fit into some sort of role that Darko envisions him for. And it's a little bit less all over the place and crazy. Does that make sense? Watch him closely, seriously, and think about it. Think about how he played before and some of the wild shot selection he's had, and maybe some of the crazy passing that he maybe shouldn't do. He's been more careful with the ball, and he's not jacking up crazy shots like he did at the beginning of the season at this point. If you pay attention, you'll see what I'm talking about. G saying this: mental health issues such as depression and anxiety are up in youth due to social media. I feel the negative stuff is becoming more attractive due to this. My advice is do not go down that path. Yeah, it's very Star Wars. It's like go ahead and join the Force. Don't go with the Empire. Don't go on the dark side because there's a lot of dark side there, and young kids have a lot of problems. Australia did something really interesting recently. They banned social media for children, and some people are crying out against it. But in some ways, I say it's healthy. It may be actually a really good thing because they're young, developing minds, and if we're contorting these young, developing minds into trolls and just haters and all kinds of cynics, what the fuck are we doing with raising kids these days? Seriously, it used to be that you raise kids with TV and MTV and Sesame Street and TV shows, but now you're getting raised through the internet, and that is scary as hell. If I was a parent, I would be very worried about the content and the things that my kid took in from the computer. And in some ways, I may be like, you know what? Let's move to Australia, honey, because then our kid won't have social media because that may be better for those kids over there. It's going to be a very interesting sociological experiment. The legal changes that Australia made as a country, banning children from social media. You're not allowed to use social media until you're 18 in Australia now. And this could actually be very beneficial. And if it works really well, smart countries will adapt it also. But the U.S. will never do this. And I'm sure Canada, much like the U.S., won't either, unfortunately, even if it is the right thing for the kids. Seriously. Because in some ways, it's way out of control. It's way out of control. And this is part of the reason how they indoctrinate young men into being incels and hating everybody because of the toxic culture of, Andrew Tate and different things like that. And different weird chat rooms where, it's very misogynistic, very racist, and some cases just really deplorable and awful. And it's sad because kids have more preyed on than ever because of online access to them. So it's a messed up problem. It's seriously messed up. Stargate saying, as Lex said, Bobby Webster is an idiot. I don't think he would even consider Trae Young. He may look at it just to look at it and parameters, but he may not be that serious about it. He may hear the spiel. He may think about it in the context of how could it happen and be like, yeah, this isn't making any sense. I wouldn't do this. I mean, if he's a good GM, he thinks about every scenario, but he probably rejects maybe 99% of them or 95% of them in his head. He's like, okay, yeah, we could do this and do this, but does that make us a better team? No. Okay, we're not doing it. You know, G saying constructive criticism is totally fine and in fact can educate people with differing opinions and stats, but the toxicity may be addictive to some people. This is part of it. This is part of it. There's a weird dopamine rush from rage baiting, trolling. There's a weird dopamine rush from arguing with somebody online and trying to be right with them. Some people get off on that high. It's really twisted and kind of messed up and sad, honestly. I had a close friend that I had it from high school that when social media came around in 2007 and Facebook, we couldn't be Facebook friends because basically he was very contrarian and I would post something and he would be like the opposite and he would just argue with me and he was doing it on purpose and I didn't care like about arguing. I was like, I don't want to do this. And why are you doing this? He was doing it just because he was addicted to the high of arguing with someone. And I told him that straight up when I unfriended him. I said, dude, you just do this just because you're getting off on this. And it's kind of weird and gross that you just enjoy arguing with people online. And this is how you get your jollies. This is crazy. This is a sad, sad state of affairs for someone if you're getting to that point in your life. Seriously. Kaloy saying Trey is not the player you would want to go into the second apron with. No, of course not. And that's why Atlanta's looking to shop him. And the calls, the value they're finding is not there. Seriously, if he's such an astounding, great player, then they're having a hard time moving him. Seriously, I don't think they will be able to move him. I think that they're just going to let his contract expire and he'll be a free agent in the summer. Seriously, and they won't get anything for him. Seriously, I think that may be what happens, guys. Seymour saying this: Michael Porter Jr. and Dylan Brooks pushed away from their clubs just to excel and prove them wrong. Yeah, I wouldn't say that about either. I wouldn't say that about Michael. Dylan Brooks is different though. Dylan Brooks got pushed away from the Grizzlies, which was stupid because he was their identity, and they didn't even realize it. They thought their identity was Ja Morant, but Ja Morant's absent. No, their identity and who they were was Dylan Brooks. And when he was kicked out of their team in Memphis, he went to Houston and he added it there. And he's a proven kind of commodity that helps winning. That's the crazy thing. Dylan Brooks helps winning more than Trae Young. People would be like, whoa, wait a second. I don't believe you, Lex. No, this is true. Dylan Brooks is more of a winning player in the NBA than Trae Young. He will add up to more to help you get a Larry O'Brien than Trae Young. People will be like, whoa, I don't believe that. Well, he's had an added winning effect in the last three places he's gone to. And in fact, this latest one is the most impressive to me because the Suns have been languishing and they've been really directionless and kind of messed up for a few years, even with Kevin Durant leading them. And well, they have more purpose and more of an identity than ever because Dylan Brooks showed up and they're actually winning because of it too. So yeah, Michael Porter Jr., you can't give him this credit. Anybody could show up for the Nets right now and be thrust in that position to have the numbers he's doing. Somebody's got to do it for them. And it's more impressive to me what Dylan's doing with the Suns because Devin Booker's still there. And he's the man. Michael Porter is the number one guy in Nets. He's going to look good no matter what because somebody's got to take the shots. So I wouldn't say that about Michael Porter Jr. All of his shit's inflated just because he plays for the Nets. Dylan Brooks, though, you can say that about him. Smooth saying this: the Raptors took a chance with one high-risk player, Brandon Ingram. They don't need to do that again. A big no to Trae Young. There you go. Reggie's right. Thanks for supporting the channel, Smooth Brown Man. Exactly. And in some ways, Brandon Ingram was an educated risk. It was some ways it was like, well, what is the big risk? Is he going to be hurt and is he going to be available? Yeah, and that was the risk. Otherwise, the player fit, the skill fit, that wasn't a risk. It was just a risk whether he was going to be able to be available and show up. Dr. Alex Silver fixes that. And Brandon's drive to want to play every game fixes that. So, yeah, it was an educated risk. It was a risk. Well, we didn't say that. When we got him last year and had to sit on him for a while, I was a little worried that this wasn't going to work out in some ways, but it's working out beautifully so far. And God willing, Brandon Ingram will be a main scorer for the Raptors for years to come and very much helping us get that second championship in Toronto. That's right. Happy New Year. 2026 is the year of the freak. I thought it was the year of the horse, guys. This year is actually in the Chinese zodiac the year of the horse, which is a very interesting year because it's a strong year. It's a strong year for hard work. And maybe that is the year of the freak, then, Daniel, because I work hard like a horse, a workhorse, every single day, doing what I'm doing on this channel. Daniel, awesome. I like that. Happy New Year to you also. Kareem saying, I'm trying to do a no meat diet this week, but hawk wings sound great. Okay, this is your resolution. You're trying to do no meat, but just for the first week? What are you doing, man? Are you going to go vegetarian or what? Don't half ass this, Kareem. If you're going to do it, just do it. Just do it. Now, the Denny's won't hit right if you're going no meat, though, man. Come on now. You need your slam. You need your sausages and bacon. Come on, man. If you're going to be down at Denny's, come on now, Kareem. All right, this is interesting, man. You want to go no meat? Keep us posted on your an update on how this is going, please. Neil saying this OKC's issues stem from their bench not producing. Sounds familiar. Sounds familiar right here. Yeah. Stargate saying here's the thing. Some fans only want the Raptors to be successful only if their favorite player is part of the team. Too many fans of individual players now and not teams. Yeah, I don't know if it's that. I think that there's casual fans that just love stars and they really buy into the NBA's marketing schemes. So they see an overimportance of people like Luka Doncic, Giannis, Ja Morant, Jalen Brunson, Jason Tatum. They see all these stars marketed like this. And because they're exposed to them so much more, they think that they're just better players in the league and they're best for us because they're overexposed. I feel like that's what it is that these names mean more to them just because of the marketing of the NBA, like Trae Young or Anthony Davis. And they just think because they're a big name, oh, they'd automatically be a good fit and they just help our team. And they're not really thinking about the nuts and bolts of it or the reality of it. I think that's what it is. I think that's where it stems from, is that you've got a lot of uneducated fans that take all their cues and they're thinking about what the NBA is just from the marketing and who they push. You know, if people that think that Zion Williamson is a great NBA player, that's just because the marketing told you that, because the reality is that's not true. The man has not been available and he has not helped his team in major ways like he should have in his career already. That's what I'm saying. You can be duped by marketing. It's the same thing with Ja Morant. You got pushed like, oh, he's so amazing. He's in all the ads. He's a marketing golden boy. But is he a reality, a good player for a team? No, because he causes all kinds of trouble. He's hurt all the time, and he's a distraction, and he's exactly what the Memphis Grizzlies have gotten to at this point. So I think that's what it is. I think that they just hear a name, and because it's a marketed name, they put a lot more value in it, and they say, oh, that's going to bring more value to our team because it's a name. You know, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Daniel saying Trae makes $46 million. Matching salaries isn't easy, and Trae is not worth it. Yeah, what are you doing? That's like Brandon and Jakob, something like that. That's like something crazy like that. That's two of our starters for that, because none of our starters make that money. I don't even think Scotty makes that kind of money. Seriously. So what the fuck you think we should get Trae Young overpriced, sorry ass little bird looking motherfucker that can't play defense? Seriously, y'all. Seriously, y'all. Fiercey's getting the brooms out. Good morning, fam, and happy game day. Tonight, let's give the Hawks the business. And she's got that broom out. Man, I should get my broom. I should. I'll bring it tomorrow. I'll have the broom out tomorrow, hopefully, on the stream. I'll have it on the screen tomorrow. We'll bring the broom over. Daniel saying Trae is a small man at 6'1", 165 pounds. Like basketball is a contact sport, and I don't see Trae aging well. It's amazing what he does. I mean, in some ways, he's a very gifted player and very good scorer, but he is not a winning player. That's what I'm saying. These are different things. If you're really thinking about who adds up to a Larry O'Brien, I think that Jamal Shed is more likely to be a championship player than Trae Young. Jamal Shed is a better point guard to win a championship with than Trae Young, and that's our backup point guard. Seriously. It's crazy. Kaloy saying, like Fred says, player stands are not good for the game. Yeah, Fred did kind of say that. You know, he has way more respect for players, for team stands, people that stand for the team and stick with their team. So in some ways, he has a lot of respect for the Raptor Freak family, especially since we stand for our alumni also. So, you know, that's the thing. My basis is the Raptors first. I love all our players, but I'm not getting in between the Raptors and me by any of those players. That's what I'm saying. And that can happen with fans because they're more Vince Carter fan than a Raptor fan. And all of a sudden they hate me because I'm not as big on Vince Carter, but they love Vince more than they love the Raptors. Because there are Raptors Nation people like that aren't as into the Raptors, but they love Vince Carter's story and who he was and dazzled by his dunks. And they're those kind of fans. And they put Vince over our team. And they may be like such fans for Vince. They're like, yeah, fuck the Raptors. He should have left them. Fuck the Raptors. And I'm glad he came back and torched us on New Jersey when he did. That there's that phenomena too, which is really weird. Those kind of fans are fucked up. Vince fans over Raptors fans, you're weird people. I'm going to say that right now. I get it to a degree why you're like that, but in some ways you're a very shallow basketball fan. If you just love dunks and the sizzle of Vince Carter, I'll take the steak of Kawhi Leonard and Brandon Ingram over the sizzle of Vince Carter. That's the other thing. Is like the stuff we were talking about the other day with Vince going to his graduation and Charles Oakley blaming him for that. This is the thing. Vince Carter, you could go back and think that may have been your best chance to get towards a championship, and you flubbed it because you went to graduation instead. Why do you ever build the narrative that way? Because for most of your career after that, did you ever get another chance that was that close? Well, you did in the playoffs with the New Jersey Nets a bit, but I don't remember you ever getting that far in the playoffs. Did you get to the finals or anything? I don't think so. So did you get the highest that you ever got in the playoffs with the Raptors? And you totally fumbled that opportunity because you went to graduation. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes the basketball guys don't just make you miss a technical free throw that wasn't warranted. In some ways, you did not respect an opportunity you had with the Toronto Raptors, Alvin Williams, Charles Oakley, and that crew. And, did you get another chance in your very long career after that to get to those kind of heights? In some ways, nobody paints that narrative that way, and they should. Because Alvin paints it that way. Alvin Williams says about the 2001 series with the Allen Iverson Philadelphia 76ers that if I knew that was going to be the highest pinnacle that I would rise in my success in the NBA, in the playoffs, in the postseason, man, I would have cherished it. I had no idea at that point. And in some ways, it's really special we had that series, but I wish I had gone even farther and higher. Does Vince ever think about it that way, like Alvin? Seriously. And where did he get after that? I may be wrong because I didn't pay attention because I didn't want to see it. Did Vince get higher in the playoffs than he did with the Raptors, with the Nets? I don't know. Maybe. You guys could fact check me. Kesper, maybe you could look this up and you could tell me for sure. Because to me, that seemed like that was his best opportunity to try and get a championship in his whole entire career. But no, he had to go to North Carolina to get on a jet, to go to walk for a paper that he didn't even get that day. He didn't even get handed his diploma that day. They mailed it to him later. So this is all just a show and an ego boost in some ways is what it is. Yeah. Let's see. Stargate saying Daniel 100 actually 100%. Actually, the not aging well has already started in Atlanta. Talking about Trae Young. Yeah. Daniel saying the problem with RJ is his contract, and can Raptors afford to extend him? And if not, can Raptors get value in a trade? Well, I would rather them, go ahead and just extend him because he's worth it. He's worth the money. His contract's not really a problem. His money's actually very reasonable for the player and what he does for us. So, this isn't a problem. I think that what's going to happen is we'll invest in RJ. In some ways, there's a lot of reasons to do it other than just that he's a very valuable player on the court. The ties with marketing him and the ties with the country are very attractive and very good for the team. And, that has to be factored in. That has to be factored in because, the unspoken thing is the Raptors should have a Canadian player on the team at all times. And the other thing is he speaks French. So it's good for the post-game interviews because we do need a French-speaking player on our team almost all the time. In some ways, that's part of the reason why Chris was on our team for so long. Not going to lie. So I think that if they have to pay him more in an extension, he'll be reasonable and work with the team because, first of all, he loves the team. He wants to help the team win. He's making sacrifices on the court. Why wouldn't he make sacrifices with his pay, a la Jalen Brunson or Tim Duncan? So, I mean, we'll cross this road when we have to get to it. This is a couple of years from now, honestly, because RJ's actually under contract for next year. And I believe he has an option on the year after that. So it's not really a road we have to cross for a while. And in some ways, I know that talk's going to heat up at some point. I don't want to prematurely talk about this like we're doing right now. because I'm sure we're going to hear all about this more than we want to when the negative ninnies and the people are going to bring it up and keep pointing it out over and over again. Then we'll talk about it a lot. But right now, I say if we're going to pay him a little bit more, he's worth it. He's shown the promise in developing and getting better, and he should stay here. And I don't even want to talk about trade ideas for him because seriously, I'm like that with him. And in some ways, he's like that with us. And that should be respected. That should be respected. And there's not any problems with him and Scotty. My top priorities to keep on this team are RJ and Scott. Everybody else could get traded and go somewhere else, and it wouldn't hurt me as much. Jakob's probably third. Brandon. I mean, I think he's fantastic fit. I think he's very high quality. But if we had to switch people out to try and do something to improve even more, he is more likely than those other three guys I just named. So I'd say Scotty, RJ, Jakob, they're no trade. These guys have to be building blocks that we keep our team until we get the next championship. So yeah, I don't even think about trading RJ. It's not even something in my mind that we should even start to look at in any kind of way. Seriously, because he's like that. Seriously. Raptors champs is saying, "Poom poom, idiot. He who shall not be named is way worse than Samson or anyone else." Talking about IQ. Yeah, and that's why I say, if you're a Raptors fan, why are you watching this clown? This guy who's obviously not for our team. He's for Scotty first, and that's it. And in some ways, he's not for our team. He's not talking about good things for the Raptors on his channel. And whatever basketball knowledge y'all think he has, you think that motherfucker can play basketball? Seriously, you think he can get out on the court and do jack shit? I take him to school and I kick his ass on a basketball court. I challenge that idiot, he who shall not be named. You come and play basketball against me. I'd even play Samson Folk, and I know he's pretty good. Seriously, I'll play any of the contributors that talk about Raptors basketball. I'll take you to school, anybody. That's an open, except for former pros, Sherman and Matt Bonner. No, I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking about guys who did not play NBA or college basketball that talk about the Raptors. I will take an open challenge from anybody, and I will school you on a basketball court myself just to prove that I know basketball better than you because I can actually fucking do it better than you. So, yeah, I'd do that to any of them. I don't care if you've been playing Samson. I'll school you in a one-on-one game, motherfucker. That's right. And I wouldn't have done that until today. And I found out that you wrote a slanderous article about IQ. That's right. I wouldn't have done it. G saying this. Yes, they can afford RJ. How do all these other teams afford their stars? That's right. That's right. Don't believe the subterfuge and bullshit of Knicks Nation and other fan nations that hate us, that want to pull RJ off our team. Don't believe that bullshit. I'm telling you right now. Fiercely saying Christian Coloco's sighting. Saw him yesterday playing with the Grizzlies against the Lakers. He's on a 19-day hardship contract. Yeah, he did not stick with the Austin Spurs very long and went almost immediately to the Memphis Hustle and the Memphis Grizzlies. So, yeah, Christian Coloco is not finding a place in where he is in the league. And, ever since he left the Raptors, it's been all downhill. It's been all downhill for him. G saying, number one, cap is going up 10%. Number two, we have RJ's bird rights. That's a big one right there. Number three, trading or waiving bench pieces would be more logical. And number five, the luxury tax would be like $2 million. Throw him away for $2 million when the Blue Jays paid $70 million for a roster that was dead last at that point. You need to invest to win. There you go. These are all really good points by G, original Raptor Freak trivia champion. That's right. Danielson, I don't know if they can or can't. That's up to the Raptors and RJ negotiations, but I'm sure there's a number. RJ at 30 makes sense. RJ at 25 is great. RJ at 35, 40, that could really hurt the team. It depends. Like G saying, the cap's going to go up and the money may change and it may very much be very affordable. Once again, I've also heard RJ made overtures that he wants to be a Raptor for the rest of his career. And also, he's made overtures that he probably would be willing to work with his price to make it all fit, to benefit the team getting the pieces that they need to get the next championship. See, that's another part of it is RJ's not negotiating necessarily as somebody who's like, you need to entice to stay in Toronto. He wants to be here. And in some ways, his childhood dream is to win a championship with us. So like I said, he's more likely to be like Jalen Brunson with the Knicks, taking lower pay to increase the roster talent. And also like Tim Duncan and Manu and Tony Parker did for the Spurs for so many years. You know, Tim Duncan did not get paid the full amount that he could have gotten paid in the NBA. Was he upset about it? No, because he got 4 championship rings. So RJ is more likely to be intelligent and smart about this and say, you know what? This is hometown. I love being in Toronto. I love playing for my childhood dream team. And I'm willing to take a little bit less money to help Bobby fill out the roster, more talent. And I'm staying here for sure. I think this is really where it is because he's been very open about this. It's not like he's hiding or holding his cards to his chest. He's very much been expressing just how much he loves playing for Toronto right now, and you can tell from the way he plays, and you can also tell by the way he's going all out. So we got to keep this all in mind when we're talking about this with RJ. G saying this a roster that was oh yeah, I already read that. That was the end part of what he was saying there. Y'all give me a cutoff. I'm at 144 on the duration of the stream right now. Stargate saying we as fans need to stop pocket watching these billionaires teams. We're here talking more about aprons, luxury taxes, and salary caps. The modern NBA fans are wild. Yeah, let's talk basketball. Let's talk about the Raptors game against the Hawks tonight. That's right. Let me see. Raptors Reddit. Do I even dare look at it? Let me see. Yeah, see, somebody's reminding here. I like this. He's saying a healthy Yak averaged 15, 10, and 2 last season. Once he's healthy, watch out. There you go. That's a good post right there. That's a good post. Somebody's putting information out about Jacoby Walter being one of the better defenders in the league right now, which is absolutely fantastic. I like that. That's good stuff. There's a happy picture of Sandra with the chain. There's somebody voting for Raptors on there. So, yeah, Raptors Reddit, you're doing pretty good for the most part. And what you're saying on Raptors Reddit today. Y'all, straight goods on Canadian goods. Y'all, listen, the U.S. went to Venezuela because of oil, right? Yeah, that's why. Let's not get it twisted. They went there for oil and also to destroy their constitution and international law about invading countries. Those are the reasons, really. Well, we have oil here in Canada, and Petro-Canada is a great company to gas up at. Seriously, Petro-Can is 100% Canadian, and Suncor Company is a Canadian company. And if you go and fill up, don't fill up at Shell, don't fill up at Esso, don't fill up at any foreign oil companies. Fill up at Petro-Can because Petro-Can is a Canadian gas company. So Petro-Canada, support your country, support your industry, support your employment, support this country for its economy by gassing up at Petro-Canada. That's what my message is on the straight goods for Canadian goods right now. Petro-Can, a brand that you should get behind if you're buying gas. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Good game saying if you don't invest in your team, you become the Wizards. I don't understand the logic all over $2 million in luxury tax that goes into revenue sharing. Raptors have collected $35 million from this revenue share. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, is that the way Rodgers is building his empire? By getting the money from the revenue share in the NBA? No, it's from QVC and Raptors products. No, this is exactly right. And, we're just going to figure it out. I hate talking about money and figures and stuff like that. This is definitely not a part of the NBA that I get interested in it. And some fans do get interested in it. It's weird. I don't get it either, Stargate. I really don't. I don't get it. Kareem saying, Trey sounds good, but he can't defend. People think quickly is just bad. Imagine an undersized guard who can't defend. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. And in some ways, I think we talked so much about Emmanuel today. I'm standing for Emmanuel. We stand behind Emmanuel, and we are supporting him. Other people can be the other way. That's fine. In some ways, we're coming at them. Fiercely saying, congrats to Nins for beating me by 1 point at Yahoo Fantasy. Seriously, he beat you by 1? You were winning. You were winning this whole time. All right, let me go check in. MK did beat me. I took my second L of the season from Meredith beating me. Wow. Amari beat Bryce. Cool Cat lost to Amit. And yeah, you lost by exactly 1 point. Holy crap, Fiercey. That's crazy. Wow, Nins. Nins got the win 1,281 to 1,280. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's a very close game right there. James beat Jason Dukes. Kareem won his matchup for his third win of the year over Andrew. And Trucker Kaz won. And HC is the undefeated still with his 11-0 record, beating Gerald, the birthday boy, this week. So, yeah, check your Yahoo Fantasy Leagues. We're playing again this week. And it looks like I'm playing Logical Raptors Fanatic this week. So check your matchups. HC, who do you have this week for your matchup and making sure you're trying to stay undefeated? Where is he? Okay, he's playing Jason Dukes, which is a very good team. So he's in threat for he could possibly lose without Nikola. So good job. Wow. 1 point victory for Nins over Fiercey. Crazy. G saying this Raptors have benefited from other teams paying the luxury tax. Teams that just milk the revenue sharing by staying under the tax generally are not successful. Yep. Yep. That's all true. Trevor's saying, Raptors fans, we give up IQ. Don't forget there are other teams waiting to scoop him up. Be careful what you're asking for. Yeah, I don't want that. That's why I'm not one of them because I know IQ is going to get better. He's a smart player and he's still young and he's going to get better. He's tightening up and we will be benefiting from it here in Toronto. And if he goes somewhere else and blows up all of a sudden, he looks more like Tyrese Maxey. These idiot Raptor fans around our fan nation will look so stupid. And once again, we'll be like, why did we listen to idiots? We'll say, no, we didn't listen to idiots and we didn't do this. That's what it is right there. That's right. Daniel's saying Trey has a $49 million player option next year that's 100% he's picking up. Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. His contract's got an option this summer, and he's going to pick up that 49 million player option, and the Hawks will hate him for it, and the fan nation will too. This is so Bradley Beal like right here. This is so Bradley Beal like. G saying this since 2001, 75 to 80% of NBA champions were luxury tax teams at some point during their title window. Nearly every dynasty was built through repeated tax payments. Consistent non tax teams rarely win titles unless they have a generational star or a rookie under market deal or a perfectly timed peak. Example, the Spurs and the Bucks. There you go. This is really good information right here. Trevor's saying, Shaq Lindsay, Nicole is a great woman and a good friend. You'd be surprised of the people I know in the city of Toronto. I'm not. I'm not. Trevor's got good connections, and I appreciate him being a good friend of mine. I do. Yeah, that's right. Raptors first. That's right, Stargate. Daniel saying Raps should spend. I agree. RJ decision doesn't have to happen today, but clearly RJ is vital to this team. That is spitting facts right there. But Shed, Dick are also expiring, so it's a tightrope who to pay and who to trade. Well, what's the money going to be like for Shed? And Grady, in some ways, everything's out the window with Grady. Whatever they decide with Grady is what they're going to decide. But Shed, he's a keeper for sure. Grady, I'm on the fence about. Obviously, we need to see more from him by the end of the year. But both those guys, especially Shed, because he's only in his second year, those guys won't be having to be figured out. I mean, Shed will be have to figure out in like 2 years from now or something like that. So it will be kind of right around RJ. But I think that Shed's piece of the pie won't be so crazy, and it will all fit together. Now Grady, he's got to do way more for us to continue to think about him. I love that you said RJ's vital to the team. So I'm going to give you a dunk. I'm going to give you a dunk for that one right there because I agree with that. That's real. There's your first dunk of the year, Daniel. 3 on the dunk chart. Not anybody has really got dunks this year. There's very few dunks so far. Blackhawks saying, y'all need to let go of the Vince hate. It went down the way it needed to. That is why the Kawhi bounce is so sweet. Suffer a defeat first to make the victory so ever so sweet. Nah, man, I'm sick of people telling me that I shouldn't. This is the way I am. My DNA with the Raptors is different. You slight me, I never forget. And I'm sorry. That's just how it is. We can have the rah, 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 feel good time. And I was fine with it last year. But even since then, like, has he come back and announced our games like he promised? Has he this year? Have I just missed it? Has Vince done any Raptors broadcasts like he did last year? I don't think he has. And in fact, he was doing the Nets broadcast for our game when we played them recently, when we lost to them. So I'm like, I'm sorry, man. And things like what Michelle Carter still says to this day just pisses me off. Seriously. In some ways, they're not taking complete ownership for what happened in their roles. And in some ways, sure, I can say that there's a lot of different people to blame. But in some ways, also, you got to understand there's different levels of respecting the Raptors. And Vince Carter does not respect us the same way that Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, these kind of players respect our team. And Vince just doesn't. He does not respect the Raptors the same way that these other guys does. It's just a weird, awkward situation because he's important to our history. But he's also a symbol of the underlying disrespect for the Raptors from American players, even though he was the centerpiece, main important player to put us on the map. That's the weird conundrum. How do you deal with that? I can tell real ones and non-real ones. And Vince is not a real one for our team, guys. And you can tell, you can ask Monique. She senses it too, because she has a very good sense for who's a real one for our franchise and who isn't. The super fan Monique Lawrence. So, I mean, us standing in the same place, because her and I are very, very much in lockstep on this opinion with Vince Carter. That's Nab Bhatia can love Vince Carter all kinds of crazy ways because he has a personal relationship and he's all kinds of Nab Bhatia's glazing everybody. He's the one who brought DeAr DeRozan to the game. So it's like that's just Nab. Nab's a businessman, and he can say, "Oh, everyone should be nice to Vince Carter because I am too. I love him. I love Michelle Carter. Fuck that. We don't have to like them. Fuck them." We retired his jersey. I've come to grips with that. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the Vince Love Fest last year. I rode through it with pride and the franchise and the contributions, but I don't have to like Vince Carter. I don't have to continue forward and saying, yeah, he's somebody that I really idealize and think is a really special Raptor. In some ways, he is, but I can also hate him. I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do that. And people can say you're bitter, you're holding on to it. No, that's how deep I am as a passionate Raptors fan. And some people would say, well, you must have problems. No, I don't. I don't think about Vince Carter every day. And in some ways, I've let to rest a lot of my anger towards him because it was much worse. Like 15 years ago, my anger, 20 years ago, my anger towards Vince was very strong. And even when people cheered him 10 years after he left, when he was on the Grizzlies, I was not one of those people then. I did not forgive him in that moment when he felt that welcome back moment. All of a sudden, he was like, I was not with him then. And I still wasn't with him last year. But since he was forced on us to retire his jersey, I had to get with the program and be okay with it. So it's just a weird situation. In some ways, it's toxic. In some ways, y'all may be duped to think that Vince just loves Canada and all this kind of stuff. No, I don't believe that shit because I can see through him. And he is not for our country. He is not for the city of Toronto. He is not for the Raptors the way a franchise icon like him should be. He isn't. He's way more for other franchises in this league, like the Nets and the Magic, than he is for our team. And that's why I'm suspicious when he tells Scotty Barnes, I'm there for you. If you want me, call me anytime. I don't trust Scotty talking to Vince Carter and the advice that Vince would give him. Well, might as well go talk to Chris Bosh and find out what he thinks you should do, Scotty. That's what I'm saying. Vince Carter and Chris Bosh are in the same category with me. Seriously, these are franchise players. These are important cornerstones of our history. But I have no respect for either one of them. And there's reasons why. There's reasons why. That's right. That's right. Stargate saying, doesn't Mobamba speak French as well? I don't think he does. Mobamba grew up in New York. He was born in New York and grew up in New York. So I don't think he speaks French. I don't think he does. He might, though. If I'm wrong, fact check me. Trevor's saying, why are we so worried about what the Raptors front office, what they can pay players? We have nothing to do with it but mind our business and watch the team play basketball and pay attention more to your own. Yeah, I'm with that. I don't like talking the money stuff. I'd much rather talk about the X's and O's and the basketball stuff and the team stuff on the court and the fun stuff around the team. That's right. Daniel's saying, Lex, did you play at college level? I don't know your background. No, I didn't. And I didn't even play at high school level. I'm just a very tall guy who had skills, and I played a lot. I was just a hooper. In Tallahassee, there was a period of my life in my late teens and early 20s that I played like 6 days a week. And it wasn't just like go out there and play for an hour. I was running on courts for like 6 hours on those days in crazy places all over Tallahassee. I'd be on the court. I remember one day I was on the court with Bob Sura, at Florida State, Cleveland Cavaliers. There would be different people around in that area in Toronto circles. And, I was playing, I ran a team in City League that had all-stars from all our high schools. Like I had, the center was from the alternative school, Sale. We had a guy who was from Leon, a guy who was from Gabi. We had a bunch of different representation from the whole city of Tallahassee on our City League team. And we had a lot of fun playing that. I was like the coach manager. But yeah, I mean, I played a lot when I was younger. And, that's where I get a lot of my knowledge concretely from playing is just pickup games and playing a lot of basketball in that period of my life. And I know a lot of people do what I did. It's not like it's extra special. but I did enough of it, and I understand team play and what works on basketball courts. And couple that with NBA knowledge and watching the NBA too. But yeah, no, I didn't make that level. No, but I still have a lot of confidence, and even at my age, and I don't play regularly right now. I'm in really good shape, and I feel like I'd be like one of those old man strength, kind of like basic fundamentals, kind of old guys on the court that you're just like, wow, he's cooking us. And it's partly because I'll play very efficiently because I don't have a lot of energy. And I will take that to people and use my strengths in the energy that I do have to make sure I do win. No extra bullshit. It's very cut and dry winning kind of basketball stuff with me. I probably post the hell out of every single person that plays me because I probably have a post advantage on whoever plays me. So I'll just back them down and I'll put the ball over my shoulder and into the hoop over Samson Folk or whoever it is. I don't care. I shouldn't give away my strategy. Stargate saying dunk for Trevor. Never understood the obsession with that. We watch and support the team for the play on the court, not for the back office business transactions. It's weird. I think part of it is like also the sports betting makes more numbers in weird ways and come out with stuff too. We'll give a dunk to Trevor for sure. For sure. We appreciate the commissioner of fun, Trevor J, and all he does for the channel. That's right. One of the important commissioners of the channel. Let's see. Where's Trevor on here? Yeah, his first dunk for the new year. There you go, Trevor. You're on the boards. You are on the boards. The assist from Stargate. All right, let's see. Smooth saying Samson is a Darius Garland guy. I like his content though. He's pretty good. I like him too. But every once in a while, we're going to see Samson come out with a hit piece or some bullshit like this. Oh well, I guess it's just sometimes it's going to happen. Samson, use your forces for good, please. Use your forces for good. Neil saying, I'm not trading Scotty, RJ, BI, Colin, Jacoby, Shed, Mamu, and Battle. You can build around them. Yeah, that's a great list. That's what I'm saying. Why are we trying to switch guys out? We should reinvest in Mamu this summer, too, I think. That's going to be an interesting thing because he's probably going to opt out on his player option. And it'll be the opposite of Trae Young. And he may be asking around the league to see how much more he can get paid. But is he worth reinvesting in for the Raptors? I think so. I think so, for sure. Fiercely saying, I was never leading over Nins. I made a stupid mistake one day. I forgot to switch Miles Turner to the center position. He got 48 points. You missed out on 48 points and lost out. That's what I'm saying. This is really, you got to be on top of things kind of thing. You really got to take care of your fantasy team, just like some sort of pocket animal in a little egg. You have to feed it every couple hours or it dies, or a pet or a plant. You got to tend to your fantasy team. You got to water it. If you don't, it's going to not do well. It's kind of what it happens. Neil saying this, FYI, to drivers in Mississauga and Brampton, best gas prices can be found at Derry and Kennedy. I got it at 105.9 last week. There you go. Is that a Petrocan station? Gas Buddy is a good little app that you can use to see the prices in your area for gas. And so Gas Buddy, I don't know. You could use that. I've used that in the past. There's Nins. Nins is saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Free Crew. Thank you, Fiercey, for giving me that 1-point win. There you go. Nins has come in to get his kudos for his very close win. Amazing. Amazing. You're like the Raptors beating the Magic last Monday by 1 point. Kareem said, is there a situation where we can acquire Trae and flip him while not losing big assets? Why do this? Why do this? I say every time you make a deal, there's not any kind of like opportunist kind of idea in this. I think this is silly. I think more often when you make deals, it's a detriment to your team because you're re-switching, you're doing different stuff. So why even do this? Why even do this? I mean, if Bobby sees a value in doing kind of a weird like middleman role, I don't see this because you're more likely to lose value in some sort of way, lose out like in a hidden cost somewhere, just getting involved in something like this. So I say no. And especially if there's some sort of risk that the second part of the deal doesn't come through and you're left hanging with him still on your team. Screw that, man. Don't even get involved, is what I'm saying. Daniel saying, I don't think Trae has positive values. So no, it would be another Bruce Brown fiasco. Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason to bring him here. That's what I'm saying. The NBA is weird now. The cap is restrictive. The league of parity means no misses on huge contracts. And Trae Young is a miss. And in some ways, everybody's figuring that out. And that's why nobody wants LaMelo Ball. That's why nobody wants Trae Young. is because these guys are negative impact and they can't be paying these kind of salaries to negative impact players and try and win championships. Everybody's realizing this now. There was a certain level of waste around the NBA where players could just be shitty and not show up and collect checks and stuff. The NBA is getting tougher and it's more confined and it's more competitive. These guys are going to find their way out. You can't just be talented anymore. You have to be available. You have to be a good citizen. You have to be a team player, and you have to be playing with the team because there's so many good players now. And if you're just a knucklehead like Ja and you can jump out the window and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff, that's not good enough anymore because you will be a waste on the roster with your salary cap hold if you're not showing up because you're in court problems or you're hurt all the time. So teams have woken up to this, and this is a new age of the NBA where they're going to be cutting out these toxic waste players that are just absolutely not beneficial to rosters. And that's the thing. You could see somebody like Trae Young out of the league in the next couple of years because of this. Seriously. Because in some ways they got to be like Ben Simmons and say, oh, I'll take a big, huge pay cut. Is Ben Simmons even in the league at this point? He made his money grifting of the NBA. And then they said, well, your new price because of who you really are is this. And it's like, I'm good. Peace. I made my money. I'm leaving. I don't need to do this. So it's like, is this going to happen to Trae Young? Is this going to happen to LaMelo? Is this going to happen to Zion? Are they going to come around and say, bro, this is what you've contributed in the league, and this is what you realistically need to be paid. Will you take this amount? Oh, bro, that's not what I'm used to making. I'm out. That could be a phenomenon that's happening in the next couple of years with certain toxic assets. Is what I'm saying right here. So Stargate saying no Blackhawk. They beat gas prices. The best gas prices are at Rutherford and Orenda City Gas Bar, 99.9 regular. Wow. I didn't know we were going to get into that. It's just because Straight Goods was Petrocan. That's right. Neil saying I don't need Vince respect. The history is the history. I don't carry hate. This is a sport. Vince era is done and can't be changed. Move on. Be better. Love of the sport rises above this nonsense. It's not nonsense. I don't trust City Bar Gas. That's what you said. You don't trust City Bar Gas. Listen, you can have your perspective on this, Neil, and allow me to have my own perspective on this. And neither's wrong, okay? And if I want to hate Vince Carter for the rest of my life, I'm allowed to do that. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with this. It's not getting in the way of me being happy in my life in general. It's just that I don't trust him, and I think he's a fake. And then I think that in some ways it's sad that he has to be one of the icons of our franchise. That's what I'll say. And that's all valid for me to have an opinion on and say that is what I'll say. That's absolutely valid. And do you think it's really keeping me awake with hate all day? No, I don't think about him hardly at all. But I went through a period where it was like I forgave him last year, but in some ways I don't. I don't forgive him because there's all kinds of bullshit that's like around this. And even the way he accepted getting his jersey retired, there was some convoluted shit in that too. So I just have my own perspective. And it's not that either one is right or wrong. It's just our own personal perspectives. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Let's see. Yeah, and Stargate's laughing at that City Bar gas bar. Neil saying City Gas Bar is more raw. I stick with Petro. Oh, you mean it's not as refined? Daddy Gates is saying at Blackhawk, Costco at New Huntington or Petrocan at Dixie and Dairy. All right, guys. All right. Enough crosstalk on gas. Just get Gas Buddy or drive around your neighborhood and write them down on a pad or something. I don't know. Kester is saying lots of media have to behave and do the broadcast material they have to do because they need to make a living. Yes, some of the content will piss me off, but I personally get it. Yeah, I don't know. Is somebody holding a gun to Samson's head to write this article on IQ? No. He could write about so many different things. He's a creative writer and he's done really good stuff. So I just, in some ways, I would just say use your powers for good. Seriously, there's enough of this kind of stuff in the world. And I know that IQ will not, he'll be fine. This is the great thing. IQ is going to come through all this and he's going to do what I'm saying he's going to do more likely than what the other people are saying. He's going to come through and be a success. And Raptors Nation, just like they treated Fred and Kyle badly in the past, they're going to be turning around and saying we love him too, and he's a GOAT at some point too. So I really truly believe this. I believe in Emmanuel, and I know that he is going to come out and look way better in the whole scheme of things in Raptors Nation as a player. I don't want any kind of villain story with him. I really don't. I don't want to see him go to another team and start killing us. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see that. I get what you're saying, though, about the broadcasters, especially with the corporate broadcasters, like whether it's Rogers or Bell. They have guidelines and they have certain things they have to do. But you also see little rebels like Leo Routens on the TSN broadcast, really not totally with the sports betting segments. He's so funny. He's so funny the way he handles the sports betting. He's like always talking about he's coming to take more money out of my pocket, Wilson Chang. He's like, what is going on here, Leo? Like he really has this weird, like anti sports betting thing on the down low, even though he has to play nice and be along with the sponsorship on TSN for a broadcast because FanDuel or whatever is doing the broadcast. And Leo absolutely hates it. You can tell. You can absolutely hates it. And it's amazing that he does that. In some ways, he would tell you probably very straight up in person about the sports betting around the game. Oh, he would opine on that real fast, but not on the air. He won't tell you how he feels about it on the air totally. But you can tell. You can tell just the way he treats those segments. It's hilarious, man. Kaloy saying he got 108 yesterday at Mavis and Britannia. Man, I don't want to do this, man. We're not like gas spotters. Come on now. We're not doing this. Kessler is saying, I personally choose to respect Vince and some of these other media personalities that maybe walk in the line of capitalistic journalism as long as they seem nice. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's totally true. I mean, part of it is that Rogers in some ways wanted to get that money off of Vince and the merchandise, like the jersey, the court, the whole thing about Vince Carter's jersey getting retired. That was money making for the league, for the team. And that's part of it right there. I mean, I can respect Vince's contribution to Canada basketball. I can respect Vince's artistry as a dunker. I often say Vince Carter is the greatest dunker in the history of the NBA. And I do think that he's important to our franchise history, but I do not rate him as one of the top 5 greatest Raptors ever. And I do not personally like him. And these all can be true at the same time. These all can be true. I do respect some things about Vince. I do. Nins is giving me the cutoff. Look at that. Nins is like a producer on this channel. He helps me with this channel and also with the Discord. And he's done the cutoff here. I love it. Thank you, Nins. Kesper is saying some of them, however, are too far behind the fence, though. Yeah, some of them you can tell. Like, this is the thing. In the Raptors media broadcast since the beginning, there wasn't homerism. There was a lot of like, we're basketball experts and we're covering the team for you guys to teach you basketball here in Canada. And if the Raptors are bad, we'll dump on them in the middle of the broadcast because we're teaching you what bad basketball is. In the early years, Leo was merciless against the team. He said the craziest shit about our team. And he was really a hater. Like, he was so mean to our players. Like, it wasn't like it is now. In some ways, we had to get respect, not just with the NBA as a team, but also with our own broadcasters so that they would call us. And also that you needed to grow this, like, I have a familiarity and I love this team and I've taken to them now over time with experience and going through the motions with them as they're building this franchise from being an expansion franchise. Then some of the broadcasters would start being more homerish. And Chuck Swirsky is a big symbol of this because, like, when Chuck Swirsky came in and started announcing our games, he got a passion for the fan and for the team with the salami and cheese calls and onions and all the great stuff he was doing with Jack Armstrong when he started calling the games. Because in the beginning it was John Saunders, Leo Routens, and Rob Black and people like that. And it was a way more straightforward, like, we're just a down-the-line journalistic broadcast of presenting the Raptors. That's really how it was from 95 to 2000. And then when Vince came, there was the announcing of Chuck. And Chuck was just such a boisterous, amazing energy that he really kind of brought more respect and real fandom and passion for the team. Matt Devlin replaced Chuck Swirsky, and he actually carried that on. But he, in the beginning, was way more professional and down the line in the very beginning. He didn't have as much personality coming from the Bobcats and the Grizzlies, being a play-by-play for those franchises before us. And then he kind of got more comfortable. He got more familiar with the fans. And then he started showing his homerism for the team too. Jack Armstrong evolved more and more into being more of a homer for our team. And obviously Alvin Williams is a homer for the team, being a former player and rooting for the Raptors pretty heavy. So the evolution of the Raptors broadcast going from being a very down the line journalist kind of, we're just presenting the game, but not necessarily rooting for our own team, has changed over the years. And part of it is Raptors fans were informed about basketball early by that kind of energy. And then it got into more homerism. But some people still are stuck in this down the line kind of view of basketball in Toronto. Like that they're like Rod Black and John Saunders, and we're just calling it right down the line. Well, we just need to be objective. And if you're too much for the Raptors, you're too much of a homer. You're not exactly seeing things clearly because you're tainted with a favoring of the home team, which I never got that. Some people, it's like, well, this is how sports are. You're supposed to be for your home team and be like this. And one of the things this channel has tried to do is demand of the media personalities, the people that Kesper is talking about that are behind the capitalistic lines, as he said, that are presenting the channel, respect our team. In some ways, if you talk down our team and you're on our broadcast, Raptors fans coming at you at this point. Because in some ways, we're demanding a general respect from our broadcasters, from our writers, to be for our team and have a passion and on underlying love for the team underlying. You know, Orrin Weisfeld, Eric Smith, these guys wrote books, and you can see they have a real passion, and there's a fandom for the Raptors on the down low. Paul Jones been there since day one on the radio with Eric Smith. And those guys, even though they're broadcasters, they are rooting for our team, and they are wanting our team to win. That's the difference, because there's been broadcasters that didn't care if the Raptors won or not, that that covered our team. And that was like guys in the beginning. And, that's the difference. And some of the writers are like this too. Some of the people that appear on Raptors broadcasts don't give a shit if the Raptors win or not, because they're not really Raptors fans. And I can tell you who they are. They're on Sportsnet, a couple of them. And there are ones on other channels like TSN. Well, does Kate Burness seem like she enjoys when the Raptors win or not? Yes. Does Leo Routins want the Raptors to win? He's been along for the ride since the beginning. Of course he wants to see the Raptors win a championship and do well. That's the thing. You can tell energy from different journalists and broadcasters around the Raptors, whether they're really truly for the team. And there's certain people that cover our team that are not for our team, that are on TV, on our broadcasts all the time today. So that's a thing. You can feel that energy. And that's all I wanted as a Raptor freak. I want our broadcasters, our people who cover our team, to respect our team at least. They don't have to be passionate fans like me, but if they respect the team and understand that they're writing content and doing content on TV for people like me, then they get their target audience right. Because a lot of these jabronis were just doing it like they're jackasses. And that's kind of informed some of Raptors Nation's behavior. If Brad Fay makes a little joke on the outro going to the commercial in the studio about, well, let's see if the Raptors are good enough tonight to do what they need to do this. It's like he's hating on the down low. He's somewhat influencing this kind of behavior in our Raptors Nation. You got to get that, seriously. And he's a very good example of this. Brad Fay is often trashing our team on our own broadcast right in front of us. And I don't want to hear it, Brad Fay. And I say two-finger salute to you, bro. I see what you're doing there. So that's the stuff right there. That's it right there. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about right there. Kesper's this is really good, really interesting subject right here. Very, very interesting. Let's see. Kareem saying, Lex, I started to come around last year because of you and his jersey retirement. But are we doing the hate that train again? If so, I'm blowing my whistle. Everybody on board. Doors closing. It really is the fact that I feel like in the energy around him this year, he's forgotten about us again. That it really was, I'm coming and passing through, and I'll be very prominent around Raptors Nation for just this 1 year, just to get my kudos, scoop up all the accolades, and then I'm out again. And I'm back on this other fence, which is basically the U.S. border. And I'm an American guy first, guys. I'm not a Raptor first. I'm an American guy first. And I stand for U.S. And I'm so proud of my dunk of death against Frederick Weiss and my USA basketball championship gold. That's the feeling I get from Vince, is that in some ways it's not as special to him as it would be with other people. In some ways, Damon Stoudemire did less accolades with the Raptors, even though he was the first ever franchise player and a rookie of the year. He respects and loves our team and our city and our country better than Vince does. Like, if you really think about it, if you go listen to Damon Stoudemire talk about the Raptors and his looking back on the whole thing in retrospect, he really is interesting how he says it. When you hear Vince talk about it, it's all ego. It's all egomania. Like, I did this to help this, and I did this. Meanwhile, you hear Damon Steinmeier saying, I owe so much to the country of Canada. I owe so much to the city of Toronto. I didn't realize how good I had it until I got to Portland and just how much they were doting on me to be the guy. And then I was nobody in Portland. I have so many regrets about some of that stuff. In some ways, I didn't need to leave just because Isaiah had to leave. I could have stayed there and continue with the Raptors. It's very interesting to hear how former Raptors talk about their experience and how they look back on it. That's one of the reasons why I love this new book by Eric Smith, is because he's taken 30 Raptors and 30 stories. And a lot of the chapters, they talk about how Canada and Toronto meant to them and their time in Toronto. And you hear Tyler Hansbrough talk about the things about Toronto and his career and what it meant to him. And you're like, wow, you're actually hearing some of these guys express more love for our team than the so-called great Air Canada Carter, who in some ways is, when he talks about the Raptors, he's talking about himself and all his accolades. And in some ways, does he really understand just how much he needed Toronto to do what he did? Or is he just really blanketed in his own ego that it's just, I saw me, I could have done this anywhere? No, I don't believe that's true. And I'll say this again, just as much as Kawhi needed Kyle Lowry, Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol, Norman Powell, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Vince Carter needed the unique situation of Toronto, a franchise team that was off the mark, to put it on the mark, to make his mark, to be who he is. He doesn't do that on the Charlotte Hornets. He doesn't do that on the Orlando Magic. Those are teams that already had stars that came through and put them on the mark, like Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, Anthony Hardaway. So it's like he had to come to Toronto, a novel situation, to get that platform to be who he is. And in some ways, he is not giving the credit totally to the situation that he was put in here in Toronto. He's really more taking the accolades and saying, me, I did it, me, I did it. Does that make sense what I just said? And that's part of the reason why I don't like him as much. Seriously, I can hear Tracy McGrady say more glowing things and regrets about Toronto and what happened here from his cousin better. In some ways, Tracy speaks us up better than Vince does himself. It's in Vince's own self-interest to make the Raptors bigger and better, but he doesn't. He doesn't totally promote us, and he doesn't really want us on a bigger stage. He can say he was happy he won the championship, but you know what he actually said? I was shocked we won the championship, is what he said. I was shocked that they won the championship. I never thought they'd ever win it, because that's the kind of person he is. That's what I'm saying right there. That's it right there. Yeah, sharing gas tips are more beneficial than basketball hate. Yeah, but that's not what this channel is. You guys can make the Gas Freak channel if you want. There you go. Stargate saying, I miss Chuck Swirsky. I love that man. Yeah, he's awesome, man. Onions, baby. Onions. That's right. All right, let's do the wrap up, guys, since I'm at the end of the chat. First of all, we have some birthdays. First of all, I want to say happy birthday to the first Italian scorer in the NBA ever, the first pickup by the Raptors in the very beginning. Wait, this isn't right. This isn't the right age. Okay, never mind. Forget about this one. We'll say this. Happy birthday to Malachi Richardson. Malachi Richardson played for the Raptors in 2017-18, the year before our championship. And he was on the championship year, too, for a couple games, too, apparently. He did play in the championship year for a few games, 22 games then. So he played 23 games altogether for the Raptors in his career. He averaged 1.4 points per game. So happy birthday to Malachi Richardson, not Malachi Flynn, Malachi Richardson. He is, I believe he is 29 today. See, he's not even that old. It's like he could still be in the league. Also, a happy birthday to a legend, a guy who was a former assistant coach for our team, a guy who played for the South Carolina Gamecocks, a man who scored the most NBA points as a player in the decade of the 1980s. Not Michael Jordan, not Larry Bird, not Irvin Johnson, not Karl Malone, none of those guys. The guy who scored the most points in the decade of the 1980s in the NBA was Alex English, and it's his birthday today. So happy birthday to Alex English. He's 72 years old today. So happy birthday to NBA legend and former assistant coach of the Toronto Raptors, Alex English. He was an assistant coach on our team for 7 years, guys. He was on our team from 2004 to 2011. So salute former coach Alex English, a great Denver Nugget, a very, very proficient scorer in the NBA. Trust me, this man has 25,000 points in the NBA scoring-wise. So yeah, big happy birthday to Alex English for sure, man, for sure. All right, let's see. Classic card. Let's go. All right, let's go. We getting on the wind down here. Get the classic card. Let's see if it's fun. Oh wow. Well, this is interesting, guys. All right, here we go. We've been getting a lot of Raptor cards lately, so we're getting another Raptor card. So be quick. Full name answer, and that means all parts of his name. If you don't put the full name, you're not going to get it. So get it right now. There you go. Who is that? That's right. This one's easy. You should be able to get this one right away, guys. Full name answer. Do not leave any part out. Boom. Slug Deezy knows how to put it. That's right. That is the legacy player, the first ever legacy player in the history of the Raptors, Gary Trent Jr., a man who played for Portland and then for the Toronto Raptors, just like his father, Gary Trent Sr., before him. And that's why, in some ways, Gary Trent Jr. is a very important player in the Raptors' history, regardless of whatever he did for us, because he was our first ever legacy player, which means his father played for our team, and then he came around and played for us also. So that's pretty cool. I like that. So Gary Trent, and 33. Should I just give him 33 points? Yeah, it's pretty easy classic card. So Slug Deezy, you're going to get 33 points for a Gary Trent Jr. card today. Yeah, on the classic card. That's kind of cool. I like that I'm getting more Raptor cards recently. It's pretty cool. I infused the classic card box with some Raptor cards. I'm going to be honest. So there is a reason why this is happening. Slug Deezy, the king of the classic card, does it again. And he's going to get 33 points for that, just in honor of Gary and his number. That's right. Yeah, Gary Trent Jr. All right, let's wrap it up. Guys, today we're playing the Hawks, the last game of the season against them. We are 3-0 against them. Let's complete the sweep and get that 4-0. It should be a good game. We should beat them. Kristaps is going to be back for this game, so Porzingis is available for the Hawks tonight. Trae Young is already ruled out for sure. There is a possibility that Luke Kennard could be added to the mix also. He was missing on Saturday. He is listed as questionable as of right now. On the Raptors side, Jakob is out for sure, and Chucky Hepburn is day-to-day as far as things. So, yeah, I've heard that A.J. Lawson is called up, and he will be in uniform to be available for the Raptors tonight. I'm not totally sure about Jonathan Mobo. It's likely he's available. Elijah Martin will not be dressed tonight. So AJ is available for the team tonight. The referees, we got 3 pretty good refs. We got the former player, Curtis Blair, who was selected by the Houston Rockets in the second round of the 1992 draft. So Curtis Blair is the head ref. He favors the Raptors. The second ref today is Andy Nagy. He favors the Raptors. And John Conley is the third ref. He favors the Raptors. So good referee crew for tonight. They shouldn't be getting in the way of the Raptors. Now, in some ways, ESPN is saying we have, I think we don't have a huge best chance to beat them in their game day prediction. Let me just see what the percentages are right now. It was interesting. It's changed. They say we have a 52% chance of beating the Hawks today. On Saturday, they said we had a 59% chance. So it's a lesser chance, they're saying. They're reading it. Maybe they're factoring in Porzingis. I don't know. Either way, I think we can beat them, and it's really going to take an effort of playing excellent team basketball with communication and connection for most of the 48 minutes. And if you guys want to do a shutdown fourth quarter like you did before, that's fantastic. This game, like Jack said in the last broadcast, it could very well be the opposite of the game on Saturday, which was a track meet up and down the court with a lot of scoring. This could be a knock them out, drag them out, kind of slow down Eastern Conference defensive battle tonight. We'll just have to see how it goes. We'll just have to see. I'm confident in the Raptors. I feel like they have RJ playing. They have a better chance to win, and they just need to continue to build on some of the cool stuff that's happening, whether it's Scotty's dominance in the paint or Brandon Ingram's amazing continuing to do more new things around the Raptors, like attack the rim all of a sudden. So, yeah, stand by IQ, stand by your team, and stop dumping on them and being toxic. Y'all have a great Monday. I'm going to go do my workouts now and drink my tea. And hopefully we'll be watching a fantastic Raptors victory over the Atlanta Hawks, closing them out with a sweep 4-0. And I'll be holding a broom on the show tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. in reaction and setting up also for Raptors 905 versus the Noblesville Boom. I know it's a weird name. We'll go over that tomorrow too. All right, y'all, have a great day. Raptorize your day. Touch grass if you can get below the snow, and just have a fantastic day. Let's put good in this world, because this world needs good, and all the good people out there cannot sit silently anymore. We need to stand up for what is right in this world, because this world is going in a weird, perverted, fucked up direction that is not good for everybody. And in some ways, we need to fight for our rights. Yeah, we do. We need to fight for our rights, because our rights may be infringed on very, very soon. And, we cannot stand silently and just take it. In some ways, we're going to have to stand up to what's happening, guys. And we have to be ready for it. All right, y'all, have a great day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go, Raptors. Be a positive fan. And I'm so disappointed in you, Samson Folk. Why'd you do that, man? You don't need to do that. You should be pointing out the good stuff about what Emmanuel's doing, not the bad stuff. Let's go, Raptors. Be a real one for the team. That's right. Be a real one like Fred VanVleet, and not like Vince Carter. That's what I say right there.